The next few weeks are going to be rough. So,
Oh,
without further ado,
mm,
maximum effort. Uh,
yeah.
and
Ready?
3, 2, 1 for each of yous. And
Oh.
clap. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? If it comes across that maybe we're just a little bit punch drunk on a Monday night, that's when we're recording,
Mhm.
then it may not just be punchy. We may be just, yeah, anyways, that's for another show. I am, well, let's get the show out of the way. This is PS Comics I Love You, the official pop
How you
culture
doing, guys?
podcast. What's going on, JR? The official
How you
pop
doing?
cultural podcast of KRP Broadcasting. And I am coming to you from the Forest Moon of Endor.
Mm.
And JR is coming from his man crush man cave of Harrison Ford, because come on, who does not like the 80s dew there on top of young Harrison?
It's a good dude. It's a good dude to rock. It's a
It's a
good
good
dude to
dude rock.
rock.
I mean that, god dang, everything about this trilogy is just amazing. And it's so fun to know that wink, this episode, this show, this movie canonly
Canonically.
chronologically, whatever that word that JR
Yeah.
just said,
Yeah.
leads right into arguably the best. Dare I say, I'm gonna say it right now.
Okay.
People say we just did 2 weeks ago. We
Okay.
just did Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, we did.
Empire Strikes Back, people say to this day, is the best Star Wars movie ever made, bar none. Doesn't even, not even close.
Hmm?
What comes in the Star
Agree.
Wars canon? What comes next after Return of the Jedi could be better than Empire Strikes Back.
Mm. I wonder what that could
Could
be.
very well be better. Yeah, could be very better, but it could be better than Empire Strikes Back. And we're of course talking about season 1 and 2 as of right now, The Mandalorian, which just
Yes,
had its
sir.
season 2 finale.
Oh
And people,
God.
I know I've gotten some emails going, dude, when are you going to get to The Mandalorian? Well, two reasons. Number one, we want to get through the movies first. Then we're going to go
Yes.
back and do the TV shows. How we're going to do that, if we're going to take a break, we don't know yet, but we want to do the Clone Wars, we want to do Rebels, and we want
Mm.
to do the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So,
It's
first
a big
off,
possibility. It's a big possibility that we might group them all up together just to
yeah,
kind of
just do
save
them all
time.
together and just kind of
Yeah.
talk about them. Maybe we don't do watch along style. We just kind of talk
Yeah.
along. And like for JR, he can definitely handle. I mean,
Well.
we've both seen season 1 of The Mandalorian,
Uh-huh.
and JR promised me for Christmas. He is going to get me for Christmas. He is going to watch season 2 of The Mandalorian. He has waited. It's been out for 8 weeks. He has waited. I
My
couldn't.
gosh,
I
it's
couldn't
hard.
because I work with 3 guys that have spoiled so much for me this season.
Oh my
But
gosh, man.
nonetheless, he is J.R. Cabacungan, the Dark King, the Sith Lord. He is
How you doing?
Darth Cabacungan at also not JR Comics 42.
42.
42. Of course, check it out. Hit him up. eBay listings coming at you full force.
Mm-hmm.
Homeboy needs to buy a new computer. Hit him up.
Yeah.
Venmo, PayPal.
Details coming soon, guys. Details coming soon.
Dude, OnlyFans slash also not JR Comics 42 coming very soon. We might set up a Patreon for him. Who knows?
I
Dude
know.
needs a new computer.
I need a new computer. I
He was
do.
he was lagging like
So
you wouldn't
bad, dude.
believe about like
Yeah,
5 minutes ago. So
yeah.
I have the voice of reason, Kevin Pillow, at voice of reason 23 on all social media platforms. We're gonna get right into this. Matter of fact, let's do this. Handy dandy remote in hand. No free shill for Apple. I really don't
Yep.
care. Um, Blu-ray, Laserdisc, VH. Oh,
Wow.
speaking of VHS, in
Uh-huh.
honor of the final episode of the original trilogy, I am busting out free today in its original gloriness on VHS, The Return of the Jedi. Check this
Wow.
stuff out. I mean, No, there are no special editions. This is the digital remaster. This was from 1995, so just a couple of years prior to the bastardization of the original trilogy. We
Oh,
have the THX trilogy. Um, this is pretty damn good version of the trilogy. Outside of the original. So, anyways, Laserdisc, Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, whatever it may be, get to that main menu.
yes,
And
sir.
3, 2, 1, play. Please don't be halfway through the movie like Empire. And it was, son of a bitch. Start from beginning. Who was watching Return of the Jedi? The hell?
I love these things, man.
There we go.
We
20th
always, we
Century
always have
Fox.
something. We always have something nice every single week for you guys. Little hiccups in
All
here
right.
and there.
We're
Yeah.
underway. Return of the Jedi, episode 6, the
Mm-hmm.
last of the Lucas era, the last
Mm-hmm.
um movie of the original trilogy. So much this growing up, this was my favorite one.
Yeah.
I've learned to embrace Empire. I still like, I almost like A New Hope better, but for some reason
Ooh.
Return, I just love it because of the Ewoks.
Yeah.
So, with that said, one of the most poignant scenes from Return of the Jedi, Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
is the opening.
Yeah.
We get so much crammed into the first 20, 30 minutes of this movie
Just
with
about. Yeah.
with the return to Tatooine, return to Jabba's palace,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we see a lot of going on. We see this grand heist
Yes, sir.
being put together. We go to the sand barge, which we'll get to in a moment, and we see uh, in his full sun baked visual goodness. We get to see one of the greatest Star Wars characters of all time come
Mm-hmm.
to the forefront, and that is Boba Fett.
Yes, sir.
And we start off this show without we would be remiss with not starting off this show to talk about Jeremy Bulloch,
Yep.
aka the original Boba Fett, passed away this past week. He was 75 years old. And the news broke actually by young Boba Fett, the young lad who plays basically the clone, the baby
Mm-hmm.
clone, or the adolescent clone
Yeah.
in episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Logan broke the story on his
Maybe.
Instagram
Mm-hmm.
that the legendary bounty hunter passed away at the age of 75 on December 17th. He played Boba Fett in both episodes 5 and 6. Um, did they say whether or not he was the original voice of Boba Fett?
Sadly, no. That's still not yet to be determined. So that's
Now,
no.
for those who don't know, if you go back in the Disney Plus and the digital release of the original trilogy, the voice of Boba Fett is actually dubbed over
Mm-hmm.
by the actor who currently plays um Boba Fett, and of course played him in the original trilogy, or Attack of the Clone rather. He played
Yeah.
Jango
Yeah.
Fett,
Yep.
and played most of the adult clones
Mm-hmm.
in that movie, and I will be remiss if I don't get it. But going back, because like I said, we saw Boba in Empire.
Mm-hmm.
What was, because you said this wasn't the first Star Wars movie that you watched. You said you watched the prequels first when you were a kid.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, about the prequels. I think yeah, I watched the first one, the very first one.
What
Like
was
a
your thought of
very.
Boba Fett? I mean, everyone's so drawn to, he's the bad guy. What was
I mean, at the time, dude, I was specifically when I first saw him, I was like, "Oh, freaking cool, badass! You got a jetpack." That was the
it's the
first thing. Like,
simple
freaking fucking
things.
yeah, jetpack. You know what the hell? Like, because you deal with your regular droids, you deal with your lightsabers, you deal with Jedi, you deal with the bad guys, and then you got this freaking guy who had a freaking jetpack on. I'm like, hell yeah, that's badass.
Tamura Morrison. Tamura Morrison
Ah,
is the gentleman who plays Boba Fett. Both who plays the face of him,
mm,
and does the redub of the voice in in both Empire and I believe in Return. But do they? We'll have to get to it. I wonder if they dub over his scream when he gets knocked into the
oh,
Sarlacc
at
pit.
like that.
Ah!
Oh, they might actually put
I
a
hope
can
not.
like they might have pulled a can Wilhelm scream. The Wilhelm scream, the famous
Mm.
dub scream.
Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah,
might they
yeah, yeah.
might have they might have put that in. So it's a possibility. They've used that many times over
Oh yeah.
anyway during the series. So it does isn't like it's a possibility. It's a probability that it happens. But yeah, he again, guys, continue with the amazing Jeremy Bulloch. He also is credited in TV film and TV like Counterattack, The Checkered Flag, The Newcomers, and many others. And cool little tidbit. He was also in a movie with Christopher Lee, who played Count Dooku, the Devil's Agent.
That's kind of cool. Brings it full circle to the Star Wars universe.
Hmm.
And it's mind blowing the amount of Star Wars related characters that we have lost in just the last couple of years.
Yeah, man,
But
it's sad.
I do want to throw this out here before I forget.
Yeah.
We had this happen today, and he's more of a sports figure, but crossed over into pop culture in professional wrestling in the mid to late 90s. And that, of course, is the NFL Hall of Famer Kevin
Oh,
Green passed away this afternoon at the age of 58. Kevin
yeah.
Green spent a lot of time participating. He loved professional wrestling, and he participated in a World Championship Wrestling (WCW) back in the
Mhm.
'90s, and
Yeah.
also had a resurgence in the late '90s with Impact Wrestling, then known as NWA TNA.
Hmm.
So our condolences to both Jeremy and Kevin's family. Um, 2020 has been a bitch,
Yeah,
really and truly.
yeah, it's been tough. It's been
Yeah.
it's been a very tough year specifically, and
I'd be remiss too if I didn't mention this. We had so much come at us the last couple of weeks, and
Mhm.
thank you so much for guys for bearing with us when we did the big Disney investor show. We did also forget to mention another professional wrestler, a Hall of Famer that passed away just a couple of weeks ago. So it kind of ties into our pop culture prospect. Was Oh my gosh, I just completely drew a blank. Pat Patterson,
Oh,
the
okay,
legendary, the Hall of Fame.
yeah,
Pat Patterson passed away. Pat Patterson was a legendary wrestler in the WWE,
absolutely.
and performed many times here on the West Coast, especially in the Cow Palace in San Francisco. Pat famously has been one of the, actually, I think was one of the first, but was an openly gay man, but only in in the latter parts of his career. It was always
Mm,
well known, or it was within the inner circle. It was well known that he was, but he was never
yeah,
uh, open about it until just the last 10 or so years of his life. But went on
yeah,
to his
guys.
great rewards. I believe he was in his late 70s. Um, Again, our well wishes and condolences to his family as
Hmm.
well. But on to better news. The Zack Snyder cut leaked, or am I reading this right?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So I came up with this little story where just so I was going through the net and like all geek fans, you just go through sites, whatever. And I was looking up just like my comic book stuff, and then I saw them clear in my eye. It was broken by first it was broken by comicbook.com CBR, and then they made note that that yeah, Zack Snyder actually he might have leaked the premiere date,
Oh,
the
the
premiere
premiere date, yeah.
month, the premiere month. And he was responding to a comment on the social media site Vero, after a fan said something about like, oh, I hope that after your cut, I hope that all the all the other cuts are destroyed or something like that, right? So Snyder commented, I understand, and of course respect your feelings, and I just hope I can wipe that version out of existence that with what you see in March. And so uh it's a possibility that he leaked it. It's I was always kind of like picturing that that February March type of date where we might have that I guess a mini series at this point. It's technically a mini
Yeah,
series.
I think it's gonna be a two-parter or something like that.
Yeah, it's technically gonna be a mini series here. It's gonna of course gonna release on HBO Max. And I'm like, okay, yeah, just a little leak from the man himself who's now rehelming the DCEU. So that was a little thing that was kind of hinted at this past week or so. And yeah, this goes into my next part, guys. Is
Well,
I
before we
go
get
ahead.
into, because I'm gonna take a timeout just real quick,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
only because I'm looking at our script and we try to fly off the seat of our cuff and we end up doing that. But JR does a fantastic job at doing a script here. Um, First note, JR forgot to hit the save button and he's missing 3 pages of notes, but still did a great job. He's got a tremendous amount of information here. Before you get into the rant, because it is all downhill until we get into the movie, I want to bring in some positive notes
Okay.
to the fans out there. I just thought of this. I will have to play it by ear
Hmm.
with what we do next Sunday for 2 reasons. Obviously, Christmas is this week. It's going to be
Yep.
busy time and whatnot.
Yep.
But we may have to call an audible at some point this week based on whatever comes out because we have a massive premiere happening on Friday on
That's right.
HBO Max.
That's
We are
right.
getting Wonder Woman 84 in less than
Yeah.
5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are subscribers to HBO Max, which is, by the way, one of the better streaming platforms outside of Disney Plus, if you don't have HBO Max, shame on you. You should have it. It's worth the $15 a month. I know that I actually single-handedly talked our good friend Sid Johnson, which, by the way, hey Sid, Desert Oasis Comics, check it out. I talked with him this past new release day. I'll probably talk to him again on Wednesday. Um, I think I single-handedly talked him into
Getting HBO
continuing
Max.
his Disney Plus and his HBO Max
Yeah.
subscription. It also
Cool,
should be
man.
noted that for those of you who are DC fans, that what was once the DC universe, um, two things. One, the streaming media content, Harley Quinn, Titans, blah 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 blah, all that stuff, all the videos should be, if they haven't already, should be I think by February, should all be on to HBO Max, and
Yeah.
the DC universe will become what Marvel Unlimited is, and that is simply an opportunity for you to subscribe to the vault
Yeah.
of comic books
Comics.
from DC Comics. So, with that
Yep.
said, some positivity again. We'll think about it. Most likely, we're going to stick with our guns and go with Force Awakens next week, but it's out there, guys. We're going to have Wonder Woman at some point this week. So,
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
said, let's get right into JR Soapbox, his rants of the day. We begin with Detective Comics. We begin with DC. I have in the notes, it starts off here, fuck DC.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So, of course, guys, like I've said before, like we've said before, we've always said that to support all your local comic book shops, right? So, me myself in particular, I have a tendency to go to this awesome shop in Palm Desert called called Comic Asylum, owned by two amazing Filipinos that I personally know. And about 2 3 months ago now, maybe a little more than that, Javel, who is one of the owners of the shop, he put out a pre-order list for. Thank you very much. He made a pre-order sign up for a statue, the Batman black and white from McFarlane, right? And so I paid my $135 up front because I wanted I had the cash. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll do it. And he said, yeah, it might be a thing to have. It's a collection edition type of thing. You could probably sell it if you wanted to in the next couple of years because like stuff that because the initial first run is going for like you buy for 135, it's like selling for like around $300. So you have your thing. Cool, whatever. So I get the news just this week that that DC because of COVID, they said that they're discontinuing the line. Cool, fine. But what about the ones that already have been made and that already has been sent out? Well, because they're dumbass fucking okay, I'm gonna just have a whole lot of F bombs and a lot of curse words. I apologize. I'll just because
Morse
they're
code here in a second.
I know because they're dumbass fucking distribution services named Lunar, they are not going to be doing that. They basically said no, we're not gonna send you or we're not gonna send you your statues or things you paid for. And I think there was a note saying that they're not gonna freaking like reimburse them or some crap like that.
How is that possible?
I don't fucking know, dude,
How's
but
that
it's just
legal?
wait, okay, so I have the actual Let me see here. Comic Asylum. Okay. Hello, Chuck's here about the black and white Batman by McFarlane. Unfortunately, got discontinued due to COVID, and when DC separated from Diamond, they refused to distribute it. So they're refusing to distribute the possibility, the probability that they already have statues in hand, but they're refusing to distribute it. And it's just like one of DC's been doing decent this year, decent, but they have been fucking up a lot too, right?
Yeah.
They've been messing up a lot, and just seeing all this stuff unfold right now, specifically when you have you're under when you're under the microscope of freaking COVID, where you have all this stuff happening, it's not a good thing to make one your possible buyers, your interested fans, not get the product that they paid for,
Yeah.
that you want, and two, to kind of screw over the freaking comic
That
book
is not
shops, right?
cool.
that that then gotta tell their people that bought from them, saying, hey, sorry, we can't they're not doing it, so we're gonna basically kind of refund your pre-order, but please shop with us. Like, just optics from this, man, it's just so bad. It's so freaking bad. And this is one of the possibly many fuck ups that that DC is switching to Lunar is gonna have. And so play it by ear at this point, but at the same time, my big fuck you goes to, okay, my small fuck you goes to DC and Lunar right now. And then we go to this, the biggest news for me, possibly the gaming world
Yeah,
for the
this was
week.
huge.
This was huge. And that is the launch, the fall, and the utter sheer disappointment that is Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
And
this
if you
was
guys, this one hurt. This one hurt. So if you guys have been, I'm pretty sure you guys have been listening to us the last couple weeks now, hopefully the last couple months,
I
and
was gonna
that
say
if
it's
you
yeah,
guys
this
have,
goes back to like almost like July we've been talking about
yeah,
this.
I was talking about this freaking game, dude, like when we were still in the tens, bro, right? And I have nothing, I had nothing but love and adoration for this game. I still kind of do. I own the game. Where is my game case? It's here somewhere. It's in my PS4 currently right now. And so for those who don't know, Cyberpunk released this Thursday, and it did not have critical acclaim. And what actually happened is that most of the reviews for it is kind of like, cool. It has potential to become really good. It's that it's just super freaking buggy right now, and it
Yeah.
kicks you out of the game. All right, cool. We thought that was the worst of it, right? Like, cool, yeah, okay, fine. It's a buggy game. They'll patch it, whatever. It's fine. Just I want to know what happens when it comes to me, right? But the big red flag about this, right, is the reviewers, right, for the game has said we only have gotten the PC version to review, meaning that it's the best possible version of the game. It's the best possible interpretation of the game, and that it's run on the best possible settings right now. And that's far beyond what baseline consoles like your PS4s and Xbox Ones can do, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. But how bad is the console versions, right? And to our freaking knowledge now, it's freaking horrendous.
Yeah. It's
Absolutely. It's like it breaks, like it has broke. I played the first time I bought the game, I played for 3 hours. I've had 3 crashes.
that's not
Every single
good.
hour, every single hour I had a one full-on crash. And the last crash I had, I said, all right, screw it, I'm done for the day. Right. And every single time I played it, I've had a crash. And I've had the game now since Thursday. So, and I at least plug in maybe a good 3-4 hours into the game, and I stop because it crashes. But yeah, the game launched last Thursday, guys. There's an NDA. For reviewers had to sign an NDA saying that they had some clauses in saying that, you can't have your own game footage of the game. You can't talk about certain things of the game, and that's just a bunch of red flags, specifically from a company called CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red is the company that's supposed to be for the good guys. If we are talking about Star Wars, they're the rebels. They're the good guys.
Yeah.
They're for the people. They should be for the people. This should not happen with them. So, okay, all review copies were done on PC. Most of them are in like high graphical settings, powered by monster PC rigs. And then we just found out there's bugs after bugs after bugs. If you think Marvel Avengers was bad bug wise, or Fallout 76 bug wise was bad,
Yeah.
this game was damn near unfinished on consoles.
And that's
Like,
the thing is they talked about this game was technically supposed to come out, I believe, in July.
Yeah, yeah, it was supposed to come out like sometime in the summer.
Yeah, and it got pushed back, and fans were like, "Okay,
Okay.
but get it done."
Yeah.
And then when stuff came out with the Avengers and other games, people were like, "No, you know what? Take your time, get it
Mm-hmm.
done.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
put shit out there that
Yeah.
that's gonna be that's
It,
gonna
it's it.
tear it down."
Yeah.
But when they kept pushing, and then it was funny was just like all of a sudden, like it kept getting pushed back, it kept getting pushed back. It almost became laughable,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden, oh, it's coming out on a Thursday. It was so random, and I was like, I remember
Yeah.
there's a video a YouTube channel that I watch
Mm-hmm.
for Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put in some Cyberpunk 2077 tonight, and I'm like, wait, it came out?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I
And
mean,
then just I've
yeah.
heard nothing but just random just terribleness about it. So
Yeah, like the game is runnable. Is runnable on PCs on pretty decent settings, right? But like, um, it's just damn near unfinished on consoles. It's like it's
yeah,
nearly unplayable on before patch one before patch 104 and 105. It was kind of damn near unplayable for me, right? It's just there's a lot of graphical glitches. There are a lot of things there's lagging the game, and it was just it felt like a horrible like grind to get through just to walk down the street. It was pretty freaking bad, and it's so bad that like that the company I don't know if you saw the statement that CD Projekt put out, right? Basically saying, "Hey, sorry that we know that we were." It was basically them saying that, "Hey, sorry guys that we lied to you, and that the console version isn't up to snuff. But please give us a chance." And that I'm paraphrasing, of course. Please give us a chance. But if you feel like that, just go and return the game. Then I'm like, that's the most fucking tone deaf type of thing. Sorry guys, but not really. If you don't like it, return it. Like that's what it felt like to me reading the message. I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude? And so that just hearing that statement, people return the game, right? Digitally, they returned it, or they returned it to stores. Sony wasn't fucking having it, and so what Sony did is that they put down the freaking hammer and they took the game off their game store on PlayStation. They just took it off and they gave refunds to everybody. Microsoft took a more lenient route, saying, okay, we'll still keep it on, but then we're giving refunds back if you bought digital releases. And knowing from a company like Sony that doesn't do refunds, not necessarily, that's a hard thing to do. Like they took out freaking Cyberpunk 2077 from CD Projekt, from that developer, the guys who made Witcher 3, which a game supposed to be touted as possibly the game of the generation of the PS4, Xbox One generation. That does not happen to this company. That's like Marvel doing Justice League, but it's Justice League and not Marvel's version of Justice League. Like that doesn't happen. No, it does
yeah.
no, that doesn't happen. And it was just so freaking bad, dude. And like now, like the game is just super unfinished. This game is super unfinished. It has so many technical glitches and hiccups. My game again has crashed constantly. I've seen so many times where I'm so freak. There's a scene literally in the first, like in the in I guess the beginning section of the game, right, where you're having this very deep, in-depth conversation with like your friend, right, who is bleeding out in this car, and like he's looking at you, right? Hey man, you're my best friend, or whatever, right? And then the gun that he's holding is sticking to his fucking head. His head is nowhere near there, but the gun butt is like sticking out to his head. Like, dude, that just takes me out. And it's in first person, so that's all you see, and like just stuff like that, dude. And the game's just unfinished. And there's people saying that, oh, you bought the game on the wrong hardware. That's your fault. I'm like, yo, this isn't like
No,
that's still a dumbass freaking argument, bro. Like, well, you you don't have the proper hardware to run it. Like, bro, like
it
this
doesn't.
isn't.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't like it doesn't. I still paid $60. I do like this isn't a freaking Ferrari we're talking about. This isn't like type of this the game. If you want to make a basis for this game, it's this. Like it's just unfinished. It's not. It's they were supposed to run this thing. They're supposed, if their intention was to run this on the highest freaking hardware, then just do that, right? But this game was announced in 2012, a full generation of games, 8 years, a full generation of a game console that was supposed to be releasing it for happened. Like it was in pre-production in 2012 and 2016 after Witcher 3's last DLC came out. They had 4 years to basically finish the game. 4 years. and all he did was just work on the high end graphical setting type of game, which is basically a really good game behind it, but it just marred so badly with technical stuff. And
Yeah,
yeah, thought.
yeah. No, I was just saying this game. I mean, even I know about it. I'm not a huge gamer,
Mm,
and even I knew about this game uh, since the I think it was since E3
mm,
in summer of 19 or maybe summer of 18.
mm.
I mean, this has been around for a while,
Yeah,
and I know obviously a lot of it had to do with the fact that you have Keanu Reeves
yeah,
as kind of the skin
yeah.
of one of the lead characters and whatnot. Um,
The guy behind the cyberpunk genre, basically Mike Pondsmith, who made the original tabletop game back in the 80s, he was so heavily involved in this. He was
yeah,
part of the pre-production planning as well as everything else going involved, just being an advisor, and he was so into it. And here's the biggest takeaway I have from this whole thing: the devs of this game aren't at fault. They've been saying multiple times, like, "Hey, no, we need more time. We need more time. We need more time. This isn't. These are a thing. It's management. It's the management, CDPR management that kind of fucked things up by having these lofty freaking goals, by saying, oh yeah, the game runs surprisingly well on consoles. And like, what is surprisingly well for you is because it's damn near broken for me. And it just feels like it's a game where, like, I would have been okay if this game was got a year delayed. I would have been okay, because the last thing for me as a consumer and a fan of CD Projekt Red, as well as just really good freaking video games, for this freaking year, is not to end it making me, it's not for this year to end, make me realize, oh yeah, that's right, 2020 was a shit freaking year, and this game just solidified that. Just helped solidify that. Like it's
it's really unfortunate because, like I said, it was one of um, those big games that was supposed to um, kind of book in this year. A lot of people were looking forward to it,
yeah.
and this was like one of the most talked about games. Like I said, I'm not tremendously into it because it's just not my cup of tea. And I want to. It's one of those other things. It's like, okay, I want it to succeed because I'm a fan of uh, the genre and whatnot. But um, I was really disappointed to hear that it bombed.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I read JR's notes that I realized that it had bombed so badly that people were doing. I had heard some of the returns for the PlayStation store. I know that Sony pulled it from the PlayStation store and whatnot. But
Yeah, dude,
most of, like you said,
it's
like JR said, is that
yeah.
most of the positive reviews that I had heard were from
Mhm.
people using it on a PC and
High PCN, yeah.
on like a top tier PC. So
Mhm.
um
Like,
I know I'm not gonna get the game.
yeah, no, here's the thing. It's a story wise, it's a good game. It's a really good game, and I was enjoying the story. It's just that every time it takes me out is, a glitch here and there, right?
Yeah.
Like cars going through freaking cinder blocks, like unfinished paved roads and all this stuff. Like I said, it's basically an unfinished game. It's so bad that freaking the New York Times put out put out a piece about it, right?
That
They
that tells you something.
Yeah, and like their stocks dropped by, like, I think 30 or 40%, and then way more than that with the second that Sony took it off the market. It's got really low. And it's the thing, the biggest disappointment for me in this whole thing, like I keep on saying, is that this is not supposed to happen to this company. With this company, like, they're supposed to be the guys that are, and guys and girls who are all about consumer rights, who are all about, protecting your developers, protecting your workers, right? And then a game about basically consumerism and corporatism, right, is ironically told through the actual management company, the management side of this company. That's some crazy freaking wicked irony in this, because it's not supposed to freaking happen to this game, right? If it happened to EA, all right, cool, it's EA. They're a fucking shady ass company. All right, whatever. If this happened to Activision, who make freaking the Call of Duties, yeah, it's Call of Duty, it's Activision. They're a shady ass company. They've been doing this for a while. I get that, but not this freaking CDPR, not the CDPR, dude. So it's just that, like, I'm still gonna give this game a shot because, one, it's $60 I can't get back now, and I do want to play this on PS5 eventually when we get one. But at the same time, like, I'm still holding out hope because, one, I know deep down they're really good people, and
Yeah.
they just had a lot of lofty expectations, and they had a lot of uh unannounced pressure. Oh, not unannounced, but like a lot of pressure on them to perform at a high rate, considering the fact that they're coming off one of the greatest games of all time in Witcher 3. And so I understand that, but this is what we got, where they're possibly now getting a class action lawsuit from investors, where for being fraudulent in the sense of like they're misleading that that the game was finished, basically.
I go, this is when it comes to um reviews
Mm-hmm.
of games. I don't think there is a better um website to go to than IGN when it comes to professional reviews on video games. I think they've
Yeah,
been pretty brutally honest. I'm not
they
going
have
to
their
read
moments.
the entire review from Tom Marks from IGN,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to read the editor's notes. This should tell you a lot of what JR just said. Editor note number one: we've replaced the video version. Now, mind you, there's a video and a full page review of this on IGN.com. So, editor's note: we replaced the video version of this review with one that uses gameplay footage recorded on the PC build of Cyberpunk 2077
Mm-hmm.
instead of the trailers we had to use previously due to CD Project Red's pre-release restrictions. So right there, that's what Jared just talked about. That they're admitting that CD Project Red has put review restrictions
Mm-hmm.
on professionals. The content of the review itself is identical. But the gameplay now more closely represents the experience we had while playing the game. So,
Yep.
um, actually, this is kind of a reverse course. They wanted you to use the gameplay footage, but
Uh,
from the PC build, um, and not the previous like trailer stuff. They wanted you to use. Then this tells you a lot about what Jr. just talked about.
mm,
Editor's note number two: due to the dramatic difference in performance, we've given a separate review score to the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 version of Cyberpunk 2077.
mm,
We do not recommend it on those platforms at this time. Big bold
yep.
letters. That is in the editor's notes. That's not in the review. That's not even in the title. That's before the title of the review on
Mm,
IGN's review of Cyberpunk 2077. Do not play
yep.
it on a console. Play it
Don't.
on a PC if you want to. And they admit, and I'm watching just some of the video, and some of the review video is buggy as shit. Oh my
Dude,
god, it's so bad.
it's
It's
bad, dude. Like
laughable.
it's bad. Like, and not only that, but like there's also certain aspects of the game too that were kind of cut out from the console version. Like the amount of people you have on screen, like the amount of NPCs that are walking the streets, like just having going out their regular lives. It's severely shortened when you get to like Xbox One and PS4 and the PS4 Pro and all that stuff, right? And it's just severely there's a lot of like there's a lot of game not gameplay but like just a lot of shortcuts taking place now when it's not it, it it's not basically the game that that they're showing the game that they've showed in their gameplay footage in their initial reveal trailers and all that stuff right on the PCs is not representative to what you'll get if you have a PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, or any of those yet, right? There
Yeah.
has yet to be there has yet to be a next gen upgrade for the game. But here's the freaking thing: when people say that you didn't buy the right version, you gotta buy it, you should buy a PC. I'm not willing to spend $1,000 to play a $60 game. I'm not. It is not my. It is not my inquiry to put down the amount of money it takes to run this game flawlessly, quote unquote. Right. I'm not willing to put down to buy a 3080 GTX from GeForce or from all that. I'm not looking to put up a new graphics card. I'm not looking to build a whole new freaking rig yet. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to put down that much right now just so I can get the game possibly to look the way that the developers want me to. No, if I wanted to, I'm not doing that, dude. Like I would if I wanted to buy a PC, which I inevitably will. I'm not gonna do it just for one freaking game, man. Like that's not the deal, bro. Like I saw a certain statistic last time when the Witcher 3 came out is that most of the sales come from consoles, right? Not most, but like a good portion, like way more than half were from console sales. So
Yeah.
that means now in today's date, Cyberpunk should have that same number, if not more, because of what Witcher 3 did. Meaning that you have most of the people that buy this game are on consoles, not just newer consoles, the older consoles, because that's what's there, right?
Yeah.
And so that's most of your freaking market. Why isn't your game running properly? Like I get it, you want to be the enthusiast, but then at the same time, you make that note. If you want this, if you want this game to be for the enthusiasts to have the crazy freaking hardware that spent $1,000 freaking dollars, right?
Yeah.
For that 3090 now that just came out, or whatever have you with these crazy type of rigs where you need you need like like how many freaking power outages to power this fucking rig you have. Okay, cool. Make it known for them. Those are your quote unquote Ferraris, and those are your quote unquote supercars of the gaming head, right?
Yeah.
But if most of your freaking but if more than half of your revenue is coming from the guys like me who are gaming on PS4 or PS5 soon and all that stuff, and we have, I don't know, like we have a BMW, right? PS4s are BMWs or something like that, right? PS5 is gonna be BMWs. Then and that's most of your freaking player base. Make it for us too, dude. Like that's where most of your freaking money is. And like it's aggravating. It really is. It's really aggravating. It really is because like this isn't the truth of the matter. They're being hella fraudulent because this isn't what you got. This like I feel cheated out of my $60 because I put so much investment into this freaking game, into the development of this game, into the people. They've lied to me. They've lied to their player base, and now we're here. Like I see them now as I see them as Bethesda Fallout people. Like, oh, this it just works, guys. This is what it is. This is our game's gonna look like. No, motherfucker, it ain't. And so, yeah, it's gonna take, like it said before, it's gonna take a lot from us, guys. They put out so many freaking statements saying that, yeah, guys, we apologize. We're gonna try to earn your trust back. They talk to investors and all this stuff. We're gonna try to earn your trust back, guys. Like, yeah, homie, sure. I'll give you guys a year to probably pick it up. If people are on the fence to buying this game, I would literally just gonna say wait 6 months to a year.
Yeah. I would definitely wait for the version of this game to come out on the next gen consoles.
Yeah,
Let them work it out on those platforms,
yeah.
and wait till you know.
Wait
Yeah,
till
I'd say so.
wait
They're
till
probably
wait till I say it's okay to come in and play, guys, because it's literally that. Like, I don't want anyone's experience to be marred by the crap that I freaking saw just booting up the game for the first time. It's it sucks. It's horrendous. I feel awful. Yeah, I feel pretty freaking bad because like, yo, this is not supposed to happen to this company, and it did.
yeah. And it should
And
be noted like the last big game that I bought was Avengers. I enjoyed
mhm,
it.
yeah,
It had its moments. It had its bugs moments.
mm,
And I bought it god dang, about a week or two
yeah,
after it came out. And at that
yeah,
point, I think it already had two massive patches. Because I remember when I first plugged it in, the night I bought it,
mm,
I brought it home and I
yeah.
popped it in, and I'm so used to put the
Day
game
one
in and
patch.
go and boot it right up, and
Yeah,
and then I go, oh shoot, that's right, there's going to be a patch update, because I didn't buy it the day
day
of, and
one.
even then,
Mm,
even day one, you're going to have a patch.
mm,
And I remember I went upstairs. I remember my wife went to bed about like 8 o'clock, and I went upstairs at like 9:30 or something like that. And she's like, "So, what do you think of the game?" I said, "I got to play 5 minutes of it." And she said, "What? You were down there for like an hour and a half?" I said, "Yeah, running an update."
yeah,
And on top of that, I had to run an update for not only the system. I had to run a
mm,
PS4 update. I had to run the update for the patches for Marvel's Avengers, but it ran smoothly. I mean, like I said, I had it I'd say about a week or so after
yeah,
its initial launch, and I
yeah,
think since I've had it, I think I've had to do two patch updates, nothing major,
yeah,
and again, it works. So, guys, it's going to take some more time, and you got to take into consideration too. And this goes along with this past week, Niantic got a lot of caught a lot of flack for how they handled an event with Pokemon Go,
mm,
and there's been a lot of bugs in that game, and that's a game that's been out for 4 years. And
yeah,
granted, it's a different kind of game than Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's a game that's supposed to come out, you play it,
yeah,
uh, it has
You expect
some
it to work.
and it has some maybe some long standing uh modes to it that you're gonna like. Okay, like for me, I remember when I played Spider-Man,
Mhm.
the Spider-Man for the PlayStation. I beat it in about 4 weeks. And but there are other parts to the game, expansion packs and other things that you can play that make you want to play it more than just 4 weeks. So there are aspects of those games to keep you
Yeah,
enthralled in the game.
yeah,
But for the most part, these kind of games like Cyberpunk and whatnot, those are designed to you play it, you beat it, you put it away, and
mm,
maybe you bring it out every once in a while. Like Pokemon Go is you play it every single
yeah,
day and whatnot. But Niantic's catching a lot of crap for some of the events that they're running
yeah,
and stuff like that. So this goes along with what JR said. It was maybe they should have used. I know that they're using COVID as kind of an excuse, but maybe they should have
yeah,
said, you know what, you're
yeah,
right, and not release the damn game and wait 6 months to release the game because these guys
yeah.
are working from home. I mean, there's a
Hmm.
story that I read on comicbook.com the other day about a couple of video games that were released and updates that were released in 2020. Um, 99% of these gaming developer staffs are
Work from
working
home.
from home,
Yeah,
and I'm sure they have
How,
great computers, great T1 friggin'
internet, all that stuff.
1000
Yeah,
gigabit internet
yeah,
connections, whatever. But it's not the same of working in an office where
yeah.
it's designed for video game development. So these guys, they should have just waited. Um,
And that's the thing. Like they built up so much good karma within the company because all the things they've done prior to this fucking game, right? The
yeah,
release of this game is that I've been okay with that. Yeah, they said if they came out PR wise, going, hey, all right, cool, guys, just let you know, the game from our standpoint doesn't look finished, right? Honestly, it looking like because of COVID, because all the extenuating circumstances due to this freaking year. It's looking like we're gonna have to push it to probably next year. I know you guys have been looking forward to it this year, but we want to give you the best possible game that we can, right?
yeah,
Like that would been okay with that. Like, all right, cool. Yeah, we want because I've heard also that they couldn't, they couldn't playtest the game because for bugs and all that stuff because all their playtesters aren't there at the studio and they're not able to give them, they're not able to give them the code correctly and say, oh, this thing's wrong here, this thing's wrong here. And I understand they didn't want to give playtesters these game testers the game to go to their houses and not leak it out online or somewhere. I understand that, but like just the opposite, like yo, like you have the possibility to become like one of the best games right off the bat of the new generation of consoles, off the bat, make it worthwhile. Push, hold it for 6 months to a year. Really polish the game up. You're supposed to be better than EA. You're supposed to be better than all these publishers that release crappy freaking games. I keep on going back to the Miyamoto quote when he says a delayed game has the possibility of eventually becoming good, but a bad game will always be a bad game. And this is it. Miyamoto said this, Nintendo's guy, right? This is it.
yeah,
And like this is what it is. And like to go back to your point with Marvel Avengers, that's one of the biggest concern. That's one of the biggest critiques I've heard. Like, oh, how come Sony didn't pull down Marvel Avengers or Fallout 76? Here's the thing. Oh well, for Fallout 76, I understood that, right? But for Marvel Avengers, here's the freaking thing. The biggest negative to that game is that after you're done with the game, there's nothing. It's a pay to service. It was a pay to play game, a pay to service game where you're supposed to have constant updates about it after you got done with the initial story. That was a big concern of it. There's nothing to do right after the game. You pay $60 for it, right?
yeah,
You're supposed to have Kamala Khan, Hawkeye. You're supposed to have all these characters after the fact, after you're done with the game. That was a big complaint. They didn't have bugs fucking galore in Fallout 76. They didn't have cars falling out of the freaking sky killing you. They didn't have buggy ass freaking character dialogue where if you can't get a character dialogue correctly, it'll stop you from a certain tree of a certain storyline in the game that's you can't finish anymore.
yeah,
They didn't have that. But they have that in CD Projekt Red, which could have been done easily if they playtested it and they would hash out all those bugs and polish. Yeah, like no, dude, and not only that, but now we keep on hearing things like, oh, developer crunch, and that these developers are working 100-hour work weeks and shit, and that that they wanted time to get away. They wanted time to be with their family, and it's the holidays and stuff like that. And now they're pissed off at the management by saying that, hey, by them telling everyone, hey, we told you this crap for months. It's an unfinished game. Don't release it, but you guys released it.
Yeah, and the other thing too is to take into consideration is like one of the last games that one of the last big massive games that I played. I mean, it obviously was Avengers. But you look at Insomniac's oh yeah,
Spider-Man.
Insomniac Spider-Man was a massive
Killed it.
game.
Freaking
And
killed it.
but the example I was going to use is Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption came out 2018. Red Dead 2
Yep.
came out in 2018. Comes out from Rockstar Games. Rockstar
Yeah.
Games known for playing Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto. And
Yep.
these are games that shoot, GTA 1 came out shoot 95, 96, 97.
Yeah, like original PS1 top
Original
down type of
PS1.
thing.
GTA 2
Mm-hmm.
didn't come out until the PS2. No, that was GTA 3.
No. Yeah, that's right. No, PS2.
I'm looking
No, that's
up
right.
now.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. PS1 was GTA 1 and 2. PS
2 was GTA 3,
3. That's right.
Vice
4.
City,
Yeah.
and San Andreas. But
That's right. Yeah.
still those games, it didn't seem like okay, like GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas came out boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But it almost seemed like Vice City and GTA and San Andreas were kind of offshoots of GTA 3, that they kind of just used the same engine and just put like a different skin over it. But those games still had bugs in it.
Yeah.
But Rockstar took their time on games. People would go like, "Oh my god, when's Grand Theft Auto 6 going to come out?" Dude, I'd rather them take their sweet ass time and come out with a better game. And guess what? It's still going to have bugs in it, but it's not nearly as bad. You say this game has been developed since 2012, and people are going to go like, "Oh God, it's been in development for 8 years. Like, how come they couldn't get it right?" It's a massive game. I've seen the gameplay footage of it. It's a huge game. It's a huge undertaking, and with the graphics that they wanted to do, I'm sure fans would have been more happy to have waited a little while longer. If you can't wait, I'm sure you can get a refund on your pre-order if you had it. But nonetheless, check in real quick. We are at we're on Dagobah. We're about 45 minutes into this movie. It is the moment where one of the big reveals. We had the big reveal in Empire Strikes Back, and that it's revealed that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, the father of Luke Skywalker. But what we find out in Return of the Jedi in this scene is we find out now that Luke is not the only one. There is Leia, and it's Leia Skywalker. And so we find out that's the other big reveal, that he has a twin sister.
Yep.
And it becomes kind of the subplot of the whole movie. Going back real quick, kind of put a bow on Cyberpunk.
I'm gonna put a stake through it. Not a bow.
Just put a stake through it.
I'll put a stake through it.
It sucks that this game went from being arguably the biggest release of 2020. This was going to be save video games for 2020, and it ends up putting video games back so many years. I will say this: I have heard some mixed reviews, but for the most part, glowing reports of Miles Morales. And another home run by Insomniac for that system. I don't have it yet. I'm hoping maybe come Friday, maybe I have it. Who knows? I still think that no, not PS5. I definitely would get you the PS4 version. Oh God, I hope I don't get a PS5. I'm the only person on the planet who actually just uttered those words. I hope I don't get a PS5.
I need to know some background on that right there later, but yeah. Okay.
There's something that I've wanted for a long time. It was literally the only thing I asked for Christmas. I know I'm sounding like an 8-year-old right now.
Okay.
And I really want it in it. And
okay.
I know.
Let me know. Go ahead. Go
If
ahead.
anybody's seen my Instagram feed at Voice of Reason 23, they know that I made a rather large purchase about 2 months ago in the form of my smoker. I've become
Oh,
kind of a grill master, so to speak. Matter of fact, I grilled did some smoked wings tonight. That was my dinner.
nice, nice.
Good.
Uh,
But so I'm not
yeah,
expecting much, but at the same time, there is something I specifically want for Christmas.
I was gonna say, dude, if you get a PS5, you don't want it, sell it to me.
Oh, trust
Just
me,
say it.
I plan on freaking. You want it? Oh, I'm gonna freaking scalp that shit. No,
You
I
motherfucker.
wouldn't
No,
regift it.
yeah.
I
No, but
was funny
yeah,
though. Was a friend of
go
mine
ahead.
at work I got an iPhone 12 Plus Max. iPhone no,
Damn.
iPhone 12 Pro Max. That's what it is
Yeah.
as an early Christmas present, and it was. I'm pretending. It was really like just not interested.
Okay, 1,000. Okay, cool.
And oh no, not just $1,000 phone. This was with
Like 1,200.
512 gigabytes of hard drive space on this phone. This is like the second tier iPhone 12 Pro Max. And so the guy that gave it to her was like, "Well, if you don't want it, regift it." So I was like, "Me, ooh, I'll take it. Ooh, over here, over here, I'll take it." But she ended up warming up to it. I want it. I mean, that the camera
Dude.
on that phone is redonkulous. And
Hmm.
actually, uh, I've really enjoyed the camera as a sidetrack. I've really enjoyed the camera on the iPhone 11. Matter of
Hmm.
fact, if you go to at Voice of Reason 23 on Instagram, I took a really neat photo this evening on Monday of the quote Christmas star,
Oh,
which is
that's
of
right. Yeah.
course is
I
Saturn
saw it.
and
I saw
Jupiter
it.
lined up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I saw it.
So, but which by the way, cool. You'll get to see it over the next I think 24 hours.
Yep.
So
Yes, we will.
I'm trying to think if there's any other news and notes. Oh, I did. I thought I want to
No,
throw
wait.
this in.
Let me freaking
Go,
stake
go
this
ahead. Put
just
the
real
stake
quick.
in.
Uh, just wait.
Kill it.
Just wait. Just fucking wait, guys. That's it.
Just wait.
Like, just wait 6 months to a year for this game to be $20. To be $20, right? I bought this game thankfully on Amazon when they had a pre-order bonus was saying that if you pay, I could pay $49.99 for the game rather than $59.99. So I bought the game $10 less. Wait till this game is like either $20 or $30, right?
Yeah.
Preferably on Black Friday or anywhere near there on this time, where they're hopefully patch like 15 comes out. Buy it on your PS5 or Xbox One Series X, whatever the hell it is, right? Or whatever next gen game you want to put it up as, and play it for the first time with fresh eyes there. I'm telling you, hopefully you'll have a better experience than what I freaking had when I first booted the game, and having these high lofty expectations of who CD Projekt Red's supposed to be. So yeah, this game is complete freaking utter crap right now to play. There's a great story in it. There's some great dialogue. That this Night City itself as a city feels like the most breathed in, lived in city I have played in the video game ever. I'm no cap. No, I'm not lying, dude. Like it feels like an actual city. Like there's uneven plains. It feels like LA. Really, it really does, where there's like it's just so much density and so much like it's when Kevin said it's huge, he meant like I mean vertically. It's huge vertically. Like there's so much stuff in the game, like just from culture and all that stuff. It's a
Well,
big game.
that's the
It's a
thing with these games nowadays is they've
yeah
gotten very open world. They have to
yeah
exceed expectations.
yeah. It's a big game in the sense of like it's vertically. It's freaking amazing. It's awesome. But have that same type of anticipation when you get the game next year, like around this fucking time. Hopefully, that game be a better version of the game that I'm playing now. I will like. It's so many. There's just so many bugs. There's a bug right now where if I where there was a there in the options menu where you try to take out film grain, you take out these graphical alignments, right? Uh, and then I put them to off. I can't get out of the freaking screen. It's so bad. I can't get out of the freaking options screen.
Yeah.
That's a bug that happened with the recent patch, and that irritated me. I posted it on Twitter. I'm like, it irritates the hell out of me. So yeah, don't play the game right now, specifically if you're on consoles. You could probably get by if you have a PS5 or a next gen Xbox, whatever they're calling it, Xbox Series X, right? You could probably get by with that, but you're gonna have crashes regardless, and that's it. Like the game just is terrible. It's freaking terrible on baseline consoles, and you deserve better. There you go.
And I'll put in my little 2 cents here, because we are, as you're listening to this, you could be listening to this on Christmas Eve, on Christmas Day, the day after Christmas, and be going like, "Oh my God, why did they freaking tell me about this a week and a half ago?" Or and parents could be listening to this going like, "Oh my gosh, why didn't JR tell me?" We didn't know. We honestly didn't
Mm-mm.
know when it
Came out
you.
Thursday.
It's one of those situations. From what I've read, again, I don't have the game. I am giving you a completely and utterly unbiased opinion on this. Is from what I understand from the game is that in certain aspects, especially on consoles, it's it is basically unplayable. If you bought this game, if you're listening to this now and it's prior to Christmas, I'm hoping that this episode gets up before at least the 23rd. I've got family obligations the next 24 to 48 hours, like a lot of us do during Christmas. But if you're listening to this around around actual Christmas Day, or wherever you may be, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, whatever it may be, um, I'm sorry. It's going to be a rough one. Expect to download a ton of patches.
I'm trying to find my game case right now, so I can't find it right now. My room's a
So
mess right now.
yeah, guys. Oh my goodness. We are getting to the fun part. We are getting to the forest moon of Endor. Okay, well, JR's
Yeah,
found it.
one more line. And just because of Star Wars, I will quote what Obi-Wan said to Anakin: "You were the freaking chosen
You
one."
were the chosen one, Cyberpunk. I mean, this is a game that we've been talking about. We did. If go back, and I will put somewhere most likely in here.
I'm drinking now. It's making me want to drink now, so I'm popping open a beer.
Shit.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
me
You think?
spill my beer.
See.
Shout out to Broken. By the way, you know what? F it. Bug the crap out of them at Stone Cold BSR on social media. Hit them up. Tell them you want El Segundo Brewing Company to sponsor PS Comics I Love You for future episodes. Maybe we'll do a drunk show. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we've been doing a drunk show for 30. By the way, happy 30th episode. Goodness gracious, what else was I going to get into? Because
you were supposed to be balanced in the freaking video game industry.
I almost the tough thing about Return of the Jedi is what can we talk about with this movie that we haven't already talked about, and we'll get into.
Let's talk about
what's up.
Since we kind of already passed it, dude. How about the first 30 minutes of the movie, though?
I just realized that by the time that when you get to like right now, they are just now landing on the forest moon of Endor. They have started the search party. Han, Leia, and Luke are on Endor right now. They just landed there with the Imperial shuttle with Chewie and the droids. Okay.
Yeah.
When they get to Dagobah and Yoda dies, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're 47 minutes into the movie. So right now they're at 57 minutes. So 40 minutes into the movie, 40 to 45 minutes into the movie is Dagobah. Yeah. And think about what's happened. You've had going backwards from there, from Dagobah. Before that, they're on Tatooine on the sand barge. The attack on Jabba's sand barge. Before that, it's the attack on Jabba's palace with the Rancor pit, or not the Rancor pit. That's on the sand. No, that's the Snorlax pit. So Rancor is the actual big brick monster, or whatever. Yeah. The invasion of you get to see Luke in full Jedi Knight. He is a true Jedi Knight. We see him with the black glove. A little foreshadowing for a future episode. Just to let you know about the black glove. Just a little foreshadowing for those of you. Anyways, but a lot happens in 45 minutes of this movie.
Dude, it felt like a fast pace. It felt pretty fast paced too.
And really, you don't. It is, but you. It's not one of those moments like, oh my God, they're rushing it. It's like, holy
pace.
F, like a lot has happened and it's good storytelling and
Yeah,
it's
it's a
funny,
good
it's like
pace.
the first time you see Jabba, take yourself out of the mindset that you didn't see Jabba the Hutt in A New Hope. They go back to the theatrical versions of these movies. You don't know who Jabba the Hutt is. You've never seen the big snail slug
Monster looking
pile
thing.
of dog shit that is Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. In 1983, when this movie came out, the first 5 minutes of the movie is the first time we see Jabba the Hutt. But when you see him for the first time,
Yep.
you know who he is.
Yep.
Again, forget having seen The Phantom Menace, forget having seen A New Hope,
Uh-huh.
the special edition, where it
Mhm.
does introduce you to who the Hutts are. What the great ability of Lucas and the storytellers involved with Return of the Jedi. And let me we'll take a quick look at Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Of course, the movie came out in May 25th, 1983. So that
Yep.
magical time every year. By the way, I cannot look at the poster for Return of the Jedi and not see the Family Guy version. It's just they've Seth MacFarlane has officially ruined the original trilogy for me, but in a good way.
They're great.
Uh,
I love.
Director for this movie is Richard Marquand. Again,
Yep.
this is not directed by
By
George Lucas.
Lucas.
George Lucas
Mm-mm.
only directed A New Hope and
Yep.
the prequel trilogies.
Mm-hmm.
Writers on this is Lawrence Kasdan, did the screenplay, and Lucas also co-wrote the screenplay. Stars Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and more, including Billy D. Williams returning as Lando Calrissian, Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca, and of course we have Ian McDermott
Yep.
debut in physical form as the Emperor, and whatnot. Of course, there's the late great David Pose as Darth Vader,
Yep.
and of course Sir Alec Guinness returns as Obi-Wan Kenobi in this. So, um, the this movie had, oh my gosh, I going back and looking at it from a historical standpoint. A New Hope
Okay. Mm-hmm.
killed it. I mean, to this day, people said that um inflation, take it
Yeah.
into consideration. A New Hope is the
Within the
highest
highest.
grossing film of all time. I mean, like
Yeah.
$3.1 billion or something. It's something stupid. It's like not even
Yeah.
close. It would destroy Titanic. It would destroy uh Avengers Endgame. It would destroy Jurassic Park and Spider-Man and Dark Knight and whatnot.
Mm.
Black Panther would destroy Black Panther. Um, so A New Hope has this massive bar, technologically advanced. Um, taken the art of the space opera and science fiction to
Mainstream.
mainstream. It has
Yeah.
made pop culture. Star Trek already existed. Star Trek had not reached this level.
Yeah.
Then you have
It's
Empire.
yeah.
Empire is a critical masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Reinvigorates the saga. Doesn't quite reach the financial plateau,
Understandably
but
so.
it does do very good.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi. Holy shit. You talk about expectations. You have A New Hope revolutionized the film industry. Empire Strikes Back, massive critical acclaim, maybe a perfect 10 when it comes to a film. And then you have Return of the Jedi. Where do you go from here? Like, what holy balls? We have the greatest reveal in cinematic history. I am your father. No, Luke, I am your father. Um, all this stuff. You have the lingering what was the line in Empire?
Which
Um,
one?
he was something where Yoda says like he was supposed to be the one,
Oh yeah.
or
No, there's another.
um, or no, that boy was our last hope. No, there is
No,
another.
there's another.
So
Yeah.
it's like, woo, what's
Yeah.
coming our way? And then we get this. So could this movie actually, in the long run, have higher expectations than the prequel and the sequel trilogies? I mean, think about it. Put yourself into context. Put you back in. You're working on this movie. It's 1983, so no special editions. You have to take your back, put yourself in the shoes of the producers of this movie in 1983, you have these two major films that came before you.
Hmm.
The sequel has outdone its predecessor, and now you're trying to do a threequel that hadn't really been done.
Not really, no.
What Superman,
James
Star
Bond,
Trek,
maybe James Bond trilogies, maybe
James Bond,
movies
really and truly. But even like James Bond, they weren't
like
sequels; they
yeah,
were
they're like
just new
other iterations.
stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
So
it's
really,
yeah.
the only multiples of a series that we had seen to that point was what's his name?
Mm.
Donner. What's his name?
Oh, you talking about
Superman.
Godfather?
No,
Oh
no, no.
yeah,
Well, yeah, you had Godfather 2, but really
Godfather.
Godfather
Yeah,
3 hadn't come out. Godfather 3 doesn't come out
yeah. It's
till
like
the late
19.
80s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you had the only true series of movies that had
Oh
was
yeah,
Star Trek and Superman was
yeah. That's right.
well,
The yeah, the Superman with Christopher Reeve. Yeah, that
yeah.
one. It's the big game to me now. Oh wow. Okay, but yeah, I don't know. Like as in expectations, it's hard to put a it's hard to put to pinpoint a vein in that content specifically because it was 1980s. You know, there wasn't necessarily too crazy in the scene in the themes of like how the vibe was for pop culture, right? What happened in 1980s at the time, early 1980s? What happened around that time? Honestly, like in early 1980s, like it was right after it was like literally right after disco. It was during that time frame where we still had very much had like I don't know, it was still after the effects of like of Nam and all this stuff, and it's still leaking into the 80s. Like it wasn't the expectations probably was still there, but as heavy as freaking possibly two though, or how do you like I think two had way more expectations than three did for me. Granted, even though two literally was on a cliffhanger to a certain
Yeah.
extent, like how the hell do you follow that up? Maybe, but then I feel like there was more expectation on two because of how big one was, or in this context, how big A New Hope was.
Yeah.
I feel that's more the case. And don't get me wrong, man. I love me some Return of the Jedi, man. It's just that like when you try taking concepts of like how if Empire had more hype, I feel like Empire did, man. And to me as a movie, yeah, I think Empire is the better movie than You Hope. But I feel like I still feel like Return is a great bookend for this series. Like it really is. It's like we introduce way more we introduce more characters. Uh, yeah, we introduce more characters. We introduce a lot more memes per se. In this one, it's a trap. Like come on, it's the most
It's a
famous meme.
trap.
It's a trap. Like it's a very famous meme. But there's a lot of just like how was this going to end type of thing. How do you bookend this series? Maybe in that concept, maybe in that type of type of context, maybe, right? But for me, dude, the hype was had to be on Empire, because how do you follow Return, how do you follow A New Hope up?
A New
Like
Hope.
really,
Yeah.
how do you follow that up? And yeah, I just feel like with three, people are all right, cool. There's a lot of goodwill now. There's a lot of good karma. We're gonna wait till three, or we're gonna wait till Return comes out. That's how it feels like. And so for me, I feel like Return. I feel like Empire has a bigger hype uh to it. But don't dude, three is sick. Like like to go back, to harken back to your first point where the first 30 minutes was just back on Tatooine, and you have Luke now a very confident in his type of role, in his type of like fervor now, where he's very confident. Luke, he's a lot more force influenced. Yeah, he's able to do Jedi mind tricks and stuff, man. That's freaking cool. And him in the black glove, in the nice dark suit, in all this, like he's confident about himself. He goes into a room filled with nothing but enemies and allies to what's the name? This beard's really getting to me. It to I let you forget his name. Am I that hammered? Am I that buzz right now? What's his
Probably.
name, dude?
You know, it's funny to
No, 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 real quick.
watch.
What's the name, dude?
Which dude?
No,
Luke?
the slug dude.
Oh, Jabba the Hutt?
Jabba the Hutt. There you go. Why think of Boba Fett for some? Boba was there, but Jabba, right?
Yeah.
Like for Luke to go to Jabba's place and say, "All right, cool. Here's my dick. Where's my friends? Where's my people?" Basically,
Oh my
that's what
gosh, they are.
that's. Sorry,
That's
I
all
apologize.
good. No, I don't. It's all good. It's like
That's basically it, dude. And
the
that was the Luke we were waiting for. The confident Luke
yeah.
who's not cocky in the sense of how in the sense of how Han is cocky, but more so like confident about his power, confident about himself. Like his hero journey is coming to an end. It's in his climax. Great. That's what we were talking about the first two episodes. Who are you as a hero? Who are you in the story as a character? And you go into the pit of vipers, right? You go into the lion's den with nothing on but a blaster, maybe,
Yeah.
and you're just chilling. You're saying, "Hey, where's my friends at?
We have
Where are my
now
people
met
at?"
we've already met Wicket, but now we
Mm,
have met the most part of the Ewoks. When you
mm,
mentioned that right there about Luke walking into Jabba's palace on Tatooine,
yeah.
and he comes in all confident. You
Mm-hmm.
see that come across as a whole as I'm sitting here watching, especially on the indoor scenes. You see that in all the actors. There's something mature about all the actors. You see
Yeah.
Mark Hamill has
Mm,
become a more confident actor. Mind you,
yeah.
Luke Skywalker was his first major role.
Mm-hmm.
You look at him and he is very confident in his role. His presentation on set. He is not only playing the role of Luke Skywalker, the Jedi Knight, who is um, confident, cocky, and full of shit. But no, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But you see Leia, she is more. She too has matured. Now I know that
Ha.
Carrie Fisher,
Mm,
um, outside of the movie, had began to dabble in uh, um,
mm,
extracurricular activities,
mm-hmm.
drinking and drugs and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of had to hide it. But she's matured a lot. Obviously, she's more womanly in that
Yeah.
golden bikini.
Oh God. Yeah.
But nonetheless, when they get her into the you see her, she's such a baby face, almost child princess in A New Hope, and now
Yeah.
she is still very soft and smooth, but she has
Mm,
become that confident woman who takes charge. She's not just this the snappy bitchy princess in A New Hope. She's
mm-hmm.
not that kind of quippy um what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say narcissist because that's Han.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Definitely. Huh?
but she's again kind of bitchy, not
It's-
so much in
I would
as
say guarded.
what's that?
Guarded. Guarded. She was way more guarded, like in the sense of like, not guarded in the sense of
Yeah, no,
keeping
guarded because
yourself.
she is
Yeah.
matured as a character in Empire, but she is still guarded. She is kind of reserving herself. Oh,
Mm,
she does not want to fall for this scoundrel Han Solo,
mm-hmm.
and whatnot. But you know, in return, she has fallen. She loves Han Solo. She has fallen in love for the scoundrel, and
There
you
she
see
is.
them kind of close to one another, and it's like that couple that has been together for they've got they're dating that are beyond that kind of honeymoon stage, and they're just kind of like they're next to each other. And it's like, oh, it's Han and Luke, or it's I'm not Han and Luke. It's Han and Leia. You know, they're that boyfriend girlfriend kind of couple.
Yeah.
And then you see Han Solo. He is that extremely confident leader. He
Mm-hmm.
is you just turn and look at him and go like, well, yeah, this is what we're gonna do.
He's a cocky,
And that's
cocky son
a
of a bitch.
testament to Harrison Ford's character and stuff like that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really kind of interesting. There was a scene in this, it's right after they find Leia's speeder
Mm-hmm.
crash, and they see Han and Luke kind of looking at the scene before them and just how they presented this also, and it was a testament to. I know it's just a simple thing, but it's a
Mhm.
testament to where Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford had come. And at this point, Harrison was a seasoned actor. I think they had already done. They may have already filmed Return of the Jedi. Or not Return of the Jedi. They may have already filmed Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, they
So
did.
he's now done. Assuming they have done Raiders, he has now done 5 films with George Lucas. He started
Yeah.
off by doing um, the Hot Rod movie, and I can't think what it's called.
American Graffiti.
American Graffiti. So he does American Graffiti. He does A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and Raiders of the Lost Ark. So he's done 5 big movies, all 5 of them with George Lucas. Um, but yeah, and then of course now we're seeing the famous floating chair scene where everyone thinks
Ah,
that C3PO is a witch, but it's really
yeah.
Luke using his force powers. I mean, he has really gotten to honing in his force powers.
Which is good. Like this is how it should play out. Where you had a literal newbie just get wrecked by Darth Vader, who is a master of the Force, in returns, and now you have a man. Now you have a young adult aspiring to be better than what he was, and so I I don't know. With the one thing I wish they would make clear is the timeline. Like how did Luke go immediately back to did Luke go immediately back to Dagobah after Revenge of the or Revenge Empire Strikes
Empire
Back.
Strikes Back.
Yeah, like after his injuries and all that stuff, right? You go straight there because like there's an obvious time skip, right? In that
Yeah, let
role.
me.
Like
There's been some theories as to.
you think they did because Lando as well said he's gonna go search for Han,
Yeah,
and the search for Han and how Lando is trying to take I don't know how long he is taking that time, but like you would think at least a couple months have passed by from this time frame, especially when knowing now with the beginning of that, yeah, they're making another freaking Death Star, right? How long did that freaking take?
yeah.
And so you would think that there is some off-screen some type of training going on, and then we have on-screen training or still off-screen where we have after Han is saved, saying, "Hey, I gotta go back to Master Yoda and I'm gonna go finish my training because I promised him."
This
Oh,
is
cool.
according to an article from December of 2016 from the Hollywood Reporter. Says The Empire Strikes Back takes place 3 years after the events of A New Hope, giving the rebels
Yep.
just enough time to move to Hoth before the Empire discovers them. And then
Mhm.
Return of the Jedi takes place just a year after that, which means
There
either
you go.
means that Luke is a very quick study, or else it really doesn't take much to become a Jedi. That's according to the Hollywood Reporter.
I
But I
mean,
think
he's the one.
that
He's the one.
I think that you have to take into consideration um, that Luke not only is gifted as a person
Mhm.
to want to become a Jedi, but um, he comes from a heritage.
Yeah.
His father was a Jedi master turned.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, yeah. No,
Was he Jedi?
no, he didn't know
He
he
was
was
Jedi.
Jedi
He was
Knight.
Jedi
Never
Knight.
gained the level of master.
Yeah.
Um,
Because of his
Obviously he's a
emotions.
Sith Lord,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, um, no. So he's a Jedi. Anakin was a Jedi Knight.
Mhm.
And Luke, like my father before me, becomes a Jedi Knight. And it
Mhm.
does. They do call him Jedi Master. He is a Jedi Master. So
Yeah.
you got to take into consideration the two Jedi Masters that Luke trains under for a year is the two greatest Jedi's in canon, Obi-Wan
Yoda.
and Yoda. So
Mhm.
if Luke is spending every waking moment he can between the events of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi studying with Master Yoda, um why wouldn't he be able to?
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, think about it. I mean, you're a physical trainer. I mean, not an actual like certified trainer, but I mean, you work
Yeah.
on your body. You are you
I
eat
have
right, exercise, stuff like
knowledge.
that.
Yeah.
If you went full board. And this was, yeah, you're also trying to be, you're also working with the rebel army and stuff like that. But for the most part, if you're going full board and you're training, let's just say every single day for like 6 hours um, on your craft,
Mm,
you could become a physical specimen.
mm,
What,
you could.
6, 8, 10 months
Yeah.
inside of a year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's specifically like what. Here's the thing that people tend to forget: Luke is a prodigy.
Oh
Luke is a
yeah,
prodigy for it's that it's kind of like a glass over because of like he's this freaking hoboken kid from butt fuck nowhere in the desert, and that's what people are supposed to view him as. When really he's a literal kid to the Darth fucking Lord himself. Like he's Darth Vader's son. He comes from a heritage of Force influence people, and he is the chosen one that was said in prophecy. Yeah, he's definitely gonna be the one. Like
another
it's
another big reveal
which one?
where Leia says, "You have a
Oh yeah.
power that I'll never be able to understand." And Luke says, he goes, basically, this is where he is saying, um, "No, my family has this. My father has it. I have it, and my sister." And reveals to Leia that not only does she have in herself the Force, or has the ability to harness the Force and become a Jedi and garner these great powers,
Mhm.
that they are brother and sister.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, also reveals to Leia, one of the main protagonists in this movie, for the first time. Luke unveils to not just his sister, but to one of the main protagonists, that the big bad, the bad
Big
of
bad.
bads, Darth Vader, is my father, and
Mm-hmm.
basically says, I am
It's your dad too.
emotionally close to the bad guy, to the target of targets that we're going after. So sorry,
Yeah.
this scene popped up
No,
and I
no, it's
decided.
good. It's a good thing to have. It's a good it's great reflex because good input in it. Yeah, it's just like Lucas was especially for the time. He was heralded as the guy. Like it's but the thing about that is it's taken up to about three movies for him to be the guy, right? To be
Yeah,
the head. Like before we think when we watched the first one, right? Okay, it might be Luke, but really it's Han. Oh, actually, maybe it might be Leia, right?
yeah,
It's a trio. It's a trio, so it's a good. It's bound on an ensemble cast. Cool. In two, okay, it's looking more a little bit like Luke's film. Oh, actually, but no, has a strong showing again. Oh wait, no, Leia has a strong showing again. Oh wait, those two are really good. Might be their movie, or maybe it's just ensemble again, right? In the third movie, it's Luke's film.
yeah,
It's Luke's film. It's Luke's film. It's Luke's film because it's the eclipse. It is the climax of his hero journey. Where it's saying, "Hey, I'm the Jedi," right? The Jedi is what we've come to. This whole freaking film was made for him. He's the Jedi, right? The Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Return of him. He's is back to prominence now. So yeah, this film was for him. He is the main guy now in this movie, as it should be because he was the nobody from nowhere, right? From desert on in a desert planet, and now he became the literal hope for the galaxy. And so yeah, he was gonna take a year with the Yoda, who was the who is arguably the best Jedi of all time at that point. And then before that, he was trained by the second best Jedi of all time in Obi-Wan. So yeah, he's gonna and also instill that with like that he's just a prodigy in general. Like, yeah, he's gonna pick up things pretty freaking fast. But even at that point, he was still a Jedi Knight. He wasn't a full-on Jedi Master. He didn't have all the skills and all the powers that would say Vader has still, or even that Obi-Wan had, or that Yoda had. Right? He
yeah.
wasn't force pushing people all the way all day. He wasn't force choking people all day. No, he was using Jedi. He was using his mind tricks, and he was using his skills with his blade. Like that's it. He was still very much a knight to that point, and I'm glad. I shouldn't say that. I'm just happy how do I word this correctly so we don't spoil what's happening? I'm just happy that the extended universe expanded on what happened after these movies. I will say that.
Oh my goodness, JR.
I'm sorry. It's like it's just more so like if people really want to know what old man Luke or Luke who's a Jedi Master could do, read or watch the extended universe stuff. Like the dude can force push and pull a freaking planet. He could use lightning. Like he used dark, like lightning is a dark aspect of the force. He was able to use it and extend it from like a galaxy away. His force speed is incredibly fast. The dude was no one to it wasn't someone to mess with, right? Like people feared the name master Jedi Master Luke Skywalker if you were on the Sith side. People feared that freaking name because of how much of a badass he was. And that's what I hope that eventually when all this Star Wars buzz is continue going around, that hopefully will peer into that aspect of the extended universe. We'll see more of that, Luke.
We're
Hopefully.
definitely going to see um,
Oh my
a
gosh.
lot of the extended universe over the next few years.
Oh, dude.
Now,
I,
real quick, obviously, as we're getting down to the scene right now, Luke has turned himself into the Empire
oh,
and is
yeah.
being interrogated
Mhm.
by Darth Vader, and he will now take him to the Emperor himself. So the first time that Luke will get to meet the Emperor Palpatine.
Mhm.
Um, a lot has happened since the last time we spoke, and of course, if you want, go back and watch our Disney Investor Day show. I'll also put a link maybe somewhere in here for that episode, but or just go to our previous episode.
That's good too.
Two things that we didn't well, yeah, a couple things we didn't get to talk about. First off, we mentioned and I think we are going to do this probably sometime in January or February.
Yeah. So,
We are going to do a collector episode, like kind of a part two collector episode, where we are going to go through a lot of the current content that's out right
oh,
now
that's right.
on the
That's right.
streaming
That's right.
platforms and the movies and stuff like that, and talk about first appearances, key issues, books do you want to collect based on what's out right now, because a lot of what's out content wise is pushing comic book sales, and vice versa. Actually, comic book sales are driving up streaming content. I mean, you look at stuff like was it God Country, and
Yeah.
is doing massive, but that was based on the comic book sales.
Dude,
Eventually we're going to get to see a Saga show,
yep.
I believe, and whatnot. So,
Dude, well, real quick too, like just to come off of that, like already right now, since Christian Bale was announced to be Gore the God Killer, right? Yeah, his first
oh
the first appearance of Gore was back in I think Thor, the God of Lightning, issue 2.
yeah,
That
it's right
was
after
originally
The Marvel Now first
yeah,
Marvel Now push.
it was originally like a $20 book, right? Raw, right? First appearance, right?
Yeah,
Now it was $150 book raw.
yeah, seal or key collector I think had it like pushing like even right after the initial announcement it was like 50-60 bucks, and now it's over $100 book. And
Mhm.
it's not it's still, I mean, obviously it's still a modern book, it's a Jason Aaron
Yeah.
written story. I know that the because we're not getting as much information about where Jane Foster is going to fit into this already massive cast for Thor Love of
Mhm.
Thunder.
Crazy.
The Thor the first appearances um for the first appearance of Jane Foster as Lady Thor, um those books kind of fluctuate between 50 60 like between 50 and $70 and $100. They kind of have gone
Yeah.
kind of all over the place, so we'll get to that in probably like in January, February.
Yeah, we will.
Real quick though, one thing we did not mention that in our going back and listening to the podcast was in Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness, which of course is officially going to be directed by Sam Raimi and starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen
Yep.
as Wanda Maximoff.
Mhm.
But making her cinematic debut will be America Chavez. Will
Oh,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
debuting. America Chavez will appear in
Right.
character in on the big screen. No Disney Plus show on the big screen in
I heard that
Multiverse of
she was,
Madness.
but I heard that she was getting Disney Plus right afterwards, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying is that you look at like Kamala Khan, who's making her debut in a Disney
On.
Plus show, and then eventually going to appear in Marvel Captain Marvel 2.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Jennifer Walters going to make her appearance in She-Hulk, the show,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then eventually appear in the movies. Riri
Yep.
Williams going to appear in a Disney Plus show, and eventually will go into the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, again, not going to get into too much detail as to how this comes about, but this information, and we just posted the article to our Facebook page this
Mm-hmm.
morning. So in 3, 2, 1, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert for The Mandalorian. We are getting a spin-off series. It is official. Disney and Lucasfilm have made this known that the book of Boba Fett is not Mandalorian season 3. It is
Mm-hmm.
officially a spin-off show. So people were thinking that the book of Boba Fett was going to be Mandalorian season 3 based on, and I'll say this as vague as possible, based on how season 2 ends. It was kind of open-ended. Do we get a season 3? What Mandalorian is it going to be? Is it going to be Din Djarin?
Yeah.
Basically, is it going to be Pedro Pascal coming back as as Mando, or is it going to be another Mandalorian in the season? Because they've said that this show can go on and on and on, and it does not have to be Pedro Pascal's Mandalorian character that is at the lead. It could be any of the Mandalorian, as we now have really opened up the lore of Mandalore. And of course, we will talk more about that in
Yeah, we will.
in Rebels and Clone Wars,
That's
and then when
yeah.
eventually in Mandalorian. Uh, but again, we're now getting face to face. We have Emperor Palpatine and Luke
Yep.
Skywalker meeting for the first time. So yeah, good news is, like I said, the Book of Boba Fett will be a spinoff. It's coming out Christmas of 2021, so we have 12 months away before we get yet another Star Wars TV show. Because just prior to Christmas of 2021, we are going to get Mandalorian season 3, which should be going into production here very shortly. And then, of course, we will get Rangers of the New Republic.
Yep.
We will also get the Bad Batch, which is going to be a
Yeah.
new animated series. We get to talk too much about and whatnot. So, um,
Was Ahsoka coming in 21 or in 22?
I
I
think
forgot.
22. So
Mm.
Ahsoka, I know someone. I think I read somewhere online that they have began production, but Disney Plus is so packed for 2021. I really doubt that they're going to get
Mm.
it out, because you have to imagine. We have Mandalorian season 2 is over now. We have WandaVision launches in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
it's going to go for about eight episodes, so similar to Mandalorian.
Mm.
Then in March, pretty much at the tail end of WandaVision, we will get Falcon and the Winter Soldier. One
Right.
would have to assume we will then get Loki sometime in late April or May, which
Mm-hmm.
would then take us, if that's again based on the formula that they're 8 episode series, we would then get the What If, which is going to be approximately what they've told us is going to be 20 episodes. How long are they? We don't know. They could be full
Yeah.
length feature animated films, which would be holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
They could be 45 minutes, like a TV show. We don't know, but we
Possibly.
do know that there's going to be somewhere around 20 episodes of What If in the
Mm.
summer. And then, I mean, they're filming Miss Marvel, they're filming
Yeah.
She-Hulk,
Kamala
they're
Khan. Oh yeah, they're
filming
filming all this. They're filming so many freaking,
Hawkeye.
which is great. Which is good. It's a good problem to have on Marvel's on Disney Plus side, or just on Disney side in general. Because like, for me, yeah, I would definitely love for them to take their time with Ahsoka. I mean,
Yeah, and
I've waited for this freaking character for at least 10, 15 years now.
oh yeah.
10 to 15, yeah, like for that amount of time, I'm okay with waiting for her. I'm okay with waiting for Ahsoka another year or so when they do it correctly, right? Like case in point, harken back to my first freaking point to CDPR, CD Project Red. It will be
Yeah, get
disservice
them.
if they release Ahsoka, right, without fully fleshing out everything, right? And just let that breathe. Let John, let whoever is running that show do their magic and taking their time. I want I want to her. I definitely want her to be a prominent figure in the Star Wars universe. In in whether it be the small screen, the streaming screen, or the freaking big screen. I'm hoping she gets to the big screen. I'm hoping they harken her back somehow. She's gonna be a little bit older, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. You know, I just want Ahsoka to be done correctly, done
Yeah.
right. I want her to have justice, really. So
The rumors going around is not only are they going to address where Ahsoka Tano has been for all this time, address
no,
the hiding, because you guys understand that Ahsoka has not been seen.
yeah,
One really and truly, she went into hiding after Order 66
yeah,
was issued. That's
yeah.
in the
She
Revenge of
would
the
have been like,
Sith.
yeah, she would have been like 10, I think, 10 to 12 years old. She was still very much a Padawan when she was still, well, not really. I forget exactly her full knighthood afterwards. But during Rebels, she was very much older. She should have been a little bit older than Luke was.
But Rebels still takes place in the time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, correct?
Yep. I mean, dude, it's like Luke was basically a baby, and then he became, I think, like he was supposed to be like, he was supposed to be like what, 16, 17 years old, but then he's like 21 there.
Yeah.
So it's the same concept. Luke Ahsoka is originally supposed to be young during she's supposed to only be she's supposed to be possibly about 10 years older than Luke, right? At the
Yeah.
end of at the beginning of a New Hope.
Yeah. So we haven't seen Ahsoka essentially since prior to the Galactic Civil War, the Battle of A New Hope. She's gone into hiding, and we don't see her now. Based on the information that we just read tonight, that um, I think they said it's, oh goodness gracious, between Revenge of the Sith and the opening of A New Hope, I believe is 15 or 20 years. I want to say it's about, let's call it 15 years.
Yeah.
Let's assume that Luke in in A New Hope is a teenager between
Yeah.
15 and 18 years old. So let's just throw it at the wall. Let's call it 20 years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope is 20 years. So be from Revenge of the Sith to the events of the Mandalorian is approximately almost 25 or 30 years. Because like we just said, between it's 3 years between A New Hope and Empire, approximately a year between Empire and Return. And then we do know that it's within a year or two. um um I would say, sorry, um
Oh, come on.
I would say with like, what would you say, about a year to 2 years between the end of Empire, or the end of Return of the Jedi, the fall of the Empire, and the beginning of season one of Mandalorian.
Probably about a year and a half. Or
I'd say, yeah,
honestly,
about a year and a half, because it's still very much, the Empire is still very, very fresh.
yeah, I think honestly, if we harken back to Gina Carano's character, I think it was in episode three, 3 or 4 when we first see Gina Carano's character. I
Yeah.
think she was a rebel fighter, and I think it was like 6 months after they won. Six or
So
seven
yeah,
months,
so it's okay. Let's call it.
somewhere in
Let's
that
just,
range.
yeah. So inside of a year. So it's
Yeah,
and then between Mandalorian season one and Mandalorian season two is not very much. I mean,
yeah,
episode one of Mandalorian season two almost takes place right after the events of season one,
yeah.
where we see Moff Gideon crash land his Tie Fighter,
Mm.
bust out with the night the dark
Yeah,
saber.
yeah.
And we will definitely get into that at another
Mm.
time. But um, just to think that Ahsoka has been MIA, could at some point could have been MIA, almost to the
Yeah.
level of Ben Kenobi. Been just kind of hanging out for 25, 30 years. I mean, that's impressive for her
Yeah.
part.
I mean, they do make note of it in Rebels, right? They do make note of it in they try to a lot of the meat and potatoes for Ahsoka's character, post Clone Wars animation and post Revenge of the Sith happened during like the Rebels and the CGI, well, I guess the other animated series, right? The other animated CGI animated
Yeah.
series that happened the last couple of years now, if I remember correctly. And so they try to flesh out her stuff. Like she did. She's grown. You see her growing up
Yeah.
in the Rebels, or in other films or in other TV shows. And I forget like where it was exactly, but I think she fought off against. I don't know if it was. I don't know if she fought off against Darth Maul particularly, or she fought against. I think she did fight against. If I remember correctly, she fought against Darth Maul.
Yeah. Damn.
Like she fought against Darth Maul, and this is after he got his legs cut off. So
Oh yeah.
so there you go. Like and so we have we have a universe that was, or we have a series that wasn't technically seen as canon the last couple of years. Hopefully now is, because we had, I remember correctly, she had some conversation with freaking Ben Kenobi in this time. She had conversations with Ben Kenobi. She had conversations with all these other people, and she was growing up. And I'm hoping to see that same iteration of Ahsoka played by Rosario. Like I hope we see that continued
We
iteration
we are.
in
She signed
afterwards.
on. She is signed on to do um the
God,
Ahsoka show
God, I
on
love
Disney
that woman.
Plus.
God, I love that woman. Rosario Dawson is
I
is
love
a
Rosario
is oh,
Dawson.
I love her so freaking much, dude.
It should be noted that Rosario is, I mean, just, I don't think
She's
she's done
awesome.
anything. Has she officially been a Disney? She hasn't been a Disney princess.
I mean, honestly, she freaking should be. She's technically the night nurse. She's technically the night
So
nurse
she's
in
she's
the
she's only
Netflix.
gotten two out of the three.
Mm,
The only one who has hit the trifecta, where she has been a Disney princess, been a an official Marvel superhero, and
mm,
a Star Wars character, is Ming Na Wen.
mm,
Ming
mm.
Na Wen, of course, the original Mulan. She
Yep,
plays Agent Melinda May in Agents of
yep.
Shield, which a lot of people are hoping will be canonized,
Canonized?
that she will
She
officially
should be.
become a part of it, which I really think they're going to.
Yeah, they should
And
be.
then, of course, and I think I think that Shield will get canonized completely based on two characters, Clark Gregg's Agent Coulson,
Yeah.
and Ming Na's um, Agent May. Now, it should be noted too, kind of come full circle, that it is being spoken about that the DLCs for the Avengers video game,
Yeah.
especially with, they just released this past week, they released the Kate Bishop patch, the Kate
Mm,
Bishop DLC.
okay.
Supposedly, and I haven't played it yet. I haven't got it yet. I haven't played Avengers in a while, and I might have to bust it out this weekend. Is supposedly within the Kate Bishop story, we see an original character from the Agents of Shield family of characters, Gemma Simmons, part of the Fitzsimmons duo. Gemma Simmons, who is a scientist for Shield, will make her video game debut in Avengers. So I think she was supposed to be a part of the Kate Bishop DLC, and I'll have to wait and see if that does come to fruition. And then supposedly there's been some new links between Miles Morales and the Avengers. I know that they tried to disconnect the Spider-Man and Avengers universe, but now I guess there is some more kind of whatever
Yeah.
commingling.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, um, figured the lull in the
I
action,
think.
the Battle of Endor is going on right now.
Mm,
Ewoks are being blown to smithereens, but then the badass little Ewoks are also creating havoc for the Empire. But thought we'd go a little pull list. Haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
Thanks, of course, for my pull list this past week. I want to say thank you to, of course, Comic Asylum, Palm Desert. Also, want to throw a shout out to Desert Oasis Comics. Got a couple of back issues from Sid this past week. And my good buddy Empty Tomb Comics, once again, coming up clutch before Christmas, getting my package to me on the ASAP. So taking a look at this. This goes to show you these next two artists that I'm going to show you. It's a trap. Oh, sorry, was
It's a
that the part?
trap. Oh my God, I love it.
These used to be tough to get a hold of unless you were there when the store opens. Now they're still sitting there at 5:00 in the afternoon. We've got a Art Germ cover.
Oh yeah,
Not one of his better covers, but still Art Germ does great work.
Yeah.
Fantastic cover.
Yeah.
He's got some really cool stuff coming up the pipeline though. He's got some damn good stuff coming up.
He does.
Oh yeah, clean up my desk here a little bit. I kicked my daughter out of the office, so I got kind of laid claim to the desk throne. I have officially been bitten by the Peach Momoko bug.
Oh, okay.
I picked this up. It is a 1 in 10 variant. Sketch variant for Doctor Who issue number 2. Absolutely gorgeous cover.
Yep.
I may or may not have gotten a second one for the missus, who is a Whovian. Great story. I haven't read any of the Hit Girls, but I did read the Kick-Ass stories, and I just realized who did this cover art. This is Kick-Ass versus Hit Girl, number 2. And if you look closely, there is only one person who signs their initials JR. And that would be the legendary John Romita Jr.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's fine art right there.
It is.
John Romita Jr. is
really, that's John Romita.
I'm almost positive. I'll have to do some research, but there is only one person I know that's. What's that?
Yeah. Who did the colors to that? Because the colors look freaking crazy.
It is. I will tell you one thing. I've absolutely loved Image's work on the rebrand because, obviously they kind of brought it back because of the movies, and we've seen. This is not syncing right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to break the cardinal sin.
Break it open.
I'm going to crack this open.
Oh man.
Well, it's a cover A. It's not like it's some high variant or something like that.
Not too crazy.
I love the smell of comic books. Yeah, right there, dude. Cover artist John Romita Jr. with Peter Steigerwald. It does not say who the cover colorist is, but I gotta imagine that's the two.
The colorist is unless it is.
I had no idea. Here we go. I did not know.
What?
That Hit Girl and Kick-Ass were created not just by Mark Miller, but were created by John Romita Jr. Yeah. I had no idea he was a creator on this. The writer on this book is Steve Miles. Marcelo Fruzin is the artist. Sonny Guo is the colorist. John Workman, the letterer. But yeah, little JR action. It's a phenomenal cover.
Yeah, it looks freaking awesome.
I will say Marvel, at least on the Iron Man front, has kind of gone old school with their covers. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, JR, this is an Adam. Is this an Adam Hughes cover? Is this Adam Hughes doing the covers of Iron Man?
No, that's Alex Ross.
Oh, I apologize. That's who I meant to say. It's Alex Ross. I apologize. Adam Hughes is your guy that does the Power Girl covers. But
you better apologize, damn it.
I meant I knew who I meant. It's Alex Ross.
Yeah,
that's who I meant.
Yeah, it's Alex Ross. He's been doing Iron Man. He's been doing Iron Man for the last
this whole run
for a while. He's doing the whole run. Ever since he got off Captain America.
Oh,
Well,
you
he's
mean
still
this
doing Captain
cover?
America.
Boom,
Yeah,
Alex Ross cover right there.
yeah,
Tanahashi
yeah,
coaches.
yeah.
Um,
He's been getting a lot of those.
I'm going to tell you right now. Comic Con International and the Eisner Awards.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
the way, we are now at the final battle between Anakin
Luke
Skywalker and
and
Luke and Darth
yeah,
Vader.
and Luke. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Luke and Anakin.
Luke and Anakin.
Yeah.
We saw Luke and Darth in the last movie. Now it's father
Yes, we
versus
did.
son. It's
Yep.
Luke and Anakin.
Yep.
Eisner Awards, CCI. I'm telling you right now that whether we have a Comic Con or not in 2021, which I think we're going to have one.
We should, yeah.
I think we're gonna have it. It's not going to be as big as years past. It's gonna. I bet you it's gonna take 5 years to get back to where it was.
Which is cool.
Tanahashi Coates needs to be nominated for an Eisner for his Captain America run.
Yeah.
His Black Panther run is legendary, Hall of Fame worthy. It put him on the map as a writer in comic books.
Yeah.
His run on Captain America is outstanding. Phenomenal.
He's freaking amazing, dude.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's really like his books outside of comics are freaking great. Oh, dude, did you get the nullified variant of that or no?
No.
I missed out on that too.
I got to double check this one. I know Jason Campbell's autograph. J. Scott Campbell. His friends get to call him Jason. I got to double check this. Is this it? No, this.
Why are you showing that, guys? I will show off my one.
Go ahead.
I had my phone this week, but I will show you my one and only. Can you see it? Damn it! There you go.
Okay, this is.
There you go. Right there. That's mine for the day. It's the Spider Woman.
Oh, is that the Virgin variant?
The Virgin Art Germ.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, this is not who I thought it was. This is not.
No, that's not Campbell.
It's not Campbell.
It's not Campbell.
It looks like his autograph, though. It looks like his signature.
Let me see. Let me pull it up. Actually, I'm trying to see.
It's not as big.
God, no. His Campbell's calligraphy is like one of the best in the business.
Oh yeah. Cover artist goes to Pepe Larraza and Marty Garcia. It's still a cool cover. It does.
Yeah.
It does have a little bit of a kiss of Campbell to it.
Yeah.
Only because Campbell has been doing the Black Cat run for almost a year now.
Yeah, like I think his last he stopped.
Yeah,
he stopped like what, maybe 2-3 issues ago. I think.
Well, this is the new run. This is the new issue. This is Legacy number 13 in this Black Cat run. Had to go down memory lane. Cannot believe I got this cover. This is probably one of the best covers in the Wonder Woman run. This is going back to last year almost. This is Wonder Woman number 759. This is a Jim Lee cover. Found this bad boy at Sid's Desert Oasis.
Cover.
Good book.
Good cover.
And then I picked up 768. I'm going after all of the Wonder Womans from the current Rebirth run.
Yeah.
There has been some amazing artists that have drawn the Amazonian princess that is Diana Prince. But nonetheless, Middleton's done a great job at it. Great Jim Lee cover there. That cover, I don't know who it was. I don't know if that's not a Middleton.
No, that one itself not Middleton. Shouldn't be.
No, it's not. That's not his run. No. His run's current.
No.
And then of course I got this from
that might be for Zone. That actually might be for Zones.
I think it is. It is.
It's for Zones cover. Yeah.
Yeah, because he did a run of quite a few cover Bs for Wonder Woman. Web of Spider-Man. Where is the Spider-Man? This is the Missing in Action series. This is Web of Spider-Man number 18 from 1986, September of 1986. If I'm not mistaken, this is first appearance of not Flash Thompson. Who's Venom?
Oh, for Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock. First appearance of Eddie Brock. And then of course I love this cover. This is Web of Spider-Man Part 4 of Resurrection. This is issue number 32 from 1987.
Oh, that's an awesome cover.
This is a cover B. This is because it's the direct edition, not the newsstand edition.
Yeah.
And then I promised you something a couple of weeks ago. This is, of course, Spawn number 311. That cover, my second version of this cover, but my good friend Empty Tombs Comics hooking a brother up with the black and white.
Black and white's good one too.
So again, job well done.
Yep.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me. Great, there it is. One of the great lines of the entire saga. Really, that whole line sums up 6 movies. In my
it's
opinion.
a good, it does. Let's it's the whole exchange between Luke and Anakin, specifically when they're talking about basically conquering the universe and conquering everything, and how how Luke was just kind of poking and prodding his mind, like why he became to be the way he is. It was a good scene to me.
Yeah.
It was a great scene to me. Like, it was very poignant because, like, it's very much, to me, it felt very much like what the hell were you doing type of thing. And how do you become this way? I think more quickly. And how did you, what was your first response to when Darth became Anakin again?
It is tough, and you're seeing this right now because part of me goes like, oh, this is cool. Like when I was a little kid, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like Darth Vader's gonna be a good guy. And it's just like, looking back at it now, it's very surreal, very odd to see really and truly the physical embodiment of evil in not just science fiction, not just cinema, but pop culture in the form of Darth Vader. That here is this guy, this black visage of
death incarnate
in the form of Darth Vader. We know him, from Anakin killing younglings, killing children and women of the Sand People, to becoming Darth Vader and slaughtering rebels in that ship in Rogue One, going on to, without even batting an eyelash, choking out admirals and generals and lieutenants of the Imperial Army, to cutting off the arm of his own son after he proclaims, I am your father. He chops off without even just wham. I mean, he is the physical embodiment of death incarnate. And here he is, and just as a good guy, picks up the Emperor and hucks him over the edge. And really and truly a kind of a funny scene. If you haven't, again, I cannot put over how much how entertaining I thought it was the Lego holiday special, now streaming on Disney Plus. It does kind of talk about this scene. I will say that was always interesting. They show Obi-Wan's hand, or not Obi-Wan, Darth Vader's hand, and you see just wires and stuff coming out of his right hand. And obviously when you can do a movie in reverse, and they go and they chop off Anakin's hand in the end of Attack of the Clones, it is just kind of interesting to see, like, oh wow, like his hand is just it's all electronics. He's not even a man anymore. That he's just all machine. It was interesting. Again, go back to your original question, that it was always kind of interesting to see the ultimate bad guy become a good guy, but still kind of like in a bad guy outfit.
Like, looking back at it now, for me, I don't know how I feel. Like, I felt like Yeah, there should have been some type of granted it was the 80s, it was still very much like, oh, everything should have a good ending, right?
Yeah.
Happy ending type of stuff. And this is happy as Anakin, this is the happiest ending that Anakin will ever get type of thing. And I get that, but to me it felt like very much like kind of campy in a sense too. I was kind of hoping that he would do something in a way that I would like to remember Darth Vader, like instead of like just like him turning good was cool, but him lifting up the Emperor and having that freaking walk and just tossing him over the edge, I'm like, that's campy as hell, bro. Like, take your lightsaber and chop him in half, type of thing, right?
Uh,
Do be Darth Vader, but understandably so. What happened to his all that stuff, his hand too, and all that. Cool, understandable. But it felt very much like it was such a it was such a face turn.
yeah.
It was kind of blatant. I'm like, okay, cool. Now looking back at it now, cool. Okay, we talk about the context and the age and where it was originally at the time and how young we were or could have been when we first watched that. But now I'm like, okay, it's kind of campy to me. Like, dude, you have all this power. I would have loved for Darth Vader to be like right behind Palpatine and just force choke him, kill him right then and there.
Yeah.
That would have
Yeah.
been cool. That would have been in character for him. Him being, to me, that felt like that was the only out of character type of thing that I had for Darth Vader. Like Darth Vader really just picked up Palpatine and just threw him off the edge into the engine. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. Well, like, yeah, I felt like it would have been better in character for me if Darth would have just choked him, killed him. He's strong enough to do so. It's the only thing that's holding him back is basically his leash, and that was it.
I had to um look him up because I didn't know what his actual name was in the canon, and the character's name is Nien Num. And people going like, who the fuck is Kevin talking about? Nien Num is the co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon with Lando Calrissian.
Oh, we
And
forgot to talk about
I
Lando.
want to settle this
Yeah.
argument because I've had
Yeah.
this with many people. Growing up here in the Coachella Valley,
Yeah.
where there's a heavy Latino
I think I know
presence.
going over this. Yeah.
Okay, Nien Num comes across as a Latino character. Kind of has that, just has a look to him. I've had it and tell many people. It's funny is I had a friend of mine, one of my really close friends in college. Who I ran track with, he's a Hispanic man, and he even told me, big nerd too, would tell me that one of his favorite parts of Return of the Jedi was seeing this character fly with Lando Calrissian, a black man, and seeing his co-pilot, another person of character, even though it's an alien looking character. And I'll show you who I'm talking about. Let me bring up the picture real quick. If people are going like, who the freak is Kevin talking about? This is the character that I'm talking about. And again, if you're on our YouTube version, I just showed the video of Nien Num from Return of the Jedi. And he's the little guy. But you look at him and people wonder like, why do you think he's Hispanic looking? It just, I don't know. It just, and I'm not the only person. I've been hearing it for years. But the more I watch it, I go, well, wait a minute. There's more Asian influence in his facial features. And there is a long-standing I put this delicately, joke at the asylum that Hispanics and Filipinos have a similar.
Oh, we're basically we're basically the Mexicans of the Asian community. Yeah.
There you go. You said it, not me. And you can say it. So I've had this argument with friends of mine that Nien Num is obviously an alien. He is in some outer space planet. He's not from Earth. Is he based on a Hispanic character or a Filipino character? I've had people tell me, I've had this argument for 20 years about this character, not knowing what his name was, That I've had people go, no, he's Mexican. No, he's Filipino. No, he's Mexican. He's Filipino. Well, he's neither. He's an alien species, but
Mhm.
like, who is he based on? I have to know from JR, our resident Filipino, who should lay claim in the race draft of of Star Wars. Who is drafting Nien Num to their race?
I would say his own race. He's neither.
He's neither.
Dude looks like neither, man. But like,
Uh,
I get it though, specifically for his
yeah.
time. If you watch it, but like, it's like he doesn't. He has certain aspects, sure, of both. Like he kind of looks a little bit more Puerto Rican, I guess, in that
Well, okay.
sense.
I mean, I gotta take a look at it. I gotta take a
But
look at it.
like, yeah, but
Okay.
like, nah, man. Like, I don't know. Anyone would try to get like, I gotta find back the scenes again, man. I gotta find back the scenes of where like
Yeah.
of Lando coming back and saving everybody. But like, nah, bro. Like, we don't claim him. We should like his own people should claim him, man. His own people is an alien race somewhere out there that should be that are marginalized at this moment by the rebel well, by the empire. So hell no. But no, it's whatever, dude. We like there's there. Uh, who's the closest brown person aside from Bill aside from Lando in the Star Wars universe? In just the three. Oh, freaking the closest brown person I would think of is Leia's adopted father.
Well, yeah,
Forgot his name.
obviously. I can't.
Obviously,
Yeah.
but I forgot his name. But yeah, him obviously. But like that's it, dude. Like we don't claim him, bro. I know Filipinos are short, dog, but we're not that short. We're not. Oh, also, so back on to I was gonna ask you also. I want to bring this up because I know this has been a topic of debate for a very long time, and I'm hoping probably this won't be our last topics for the podcast because it's getting pretty late, guys. But and this man has to go to work in the morning, so there's
Yes,
that.
sir.
So
And we are at the special edition ending
oh
to the movie.
god no okay we don't need to see that saying, but like okay so the point of contention is this: why are people still mad at Lando?
Why would
People
people?
people
Yeah.
people still don't forgive him. People still have not forgiven this man because of the betrayal of Han Solo.
How does he portray Han Solo? You talking about him
By
knocking the satellite dish off the Millennium Falcon?
no, like in the sense of like in two for for leading Darth for having him for Han being captured. There are still some talks about saying that that people don't, I know there's been it's a point of contention for Billy D too when he goes to conventions and all that stuff. Like one of his one of his most constantly asked questions is like, oh, do you feel sorry for having Han get captured, right? And people still don't forgive him for that. I'm like, this is really like it's crazy how much of a conversation this is to me. Because I thought that was a non-factor considering the fact that he went after Han in the end of Empire,
Yeah.
and also that he was a general in the in the rebellion. Or is he general or like he's a yeah he's general, isn't
He
he?
become
He's general.
he is unveiled when Han makes the I think Han makes the announcement general
Yeah,
and refers to him. But
yeah. So like
I think
people still don't forgive the black man for saving the white dude.
I think that the one of the things that I just watched a video on this not too long ago. Actually, I think it may have just been this weekend where um and here comes the scene. They should reset it. Oh, it frustrates me.
Which one? Which one?
Oh,
The one
it's
where
the
they
one where they have Hayden Christensen come in as Anakin.
I knew you go to that one.
I
I knew
will
you were
say
gonna.
this.
I'm
I
so
will
happy. I'm so
say
happy you're
this.
back, Hayden. I'm so happy you're back, Hayden.
Is there has been talk for years
Mm-hmm.
that they were thinking of removing um Sir Alec Guinness
Mm. And
because
putting
it
in
makes no sense
yeah.
to have removed the older man version of Anakin Skywalker, basically the guy who played the Force Ghost in the original release in 1983,
Yeah.
which is the older version of Anakin. You have the
Yeah.
older version of of Yoda. You have the
Oh,
older version of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
yeah.
Why they had to remove the old version of Anakin and put in Hayden Christensen, and
Actually,
then there
yeah.
was talk of removing Sir Alec Guinness, which, oh my god, they would have burned Lucas Lucas
Yeah.
Valley to the ground,
Yeah.
and replace him with Ewan McGregor. Oh
It's
my
like this
gosh, that
stuff
would have
too.
been awful. But I'm
Wasn't
glad that
was
they didn't. There's been talk for years about them doing that. So
wasn't there some type of like dispute about like likeness and all that stuff? That's why, or
yeah,
was it just
there's I
straight up
think
like
Alec
just?
Guinness has his family has rights to it, or I don't know. There's
Well,
legalities, but nonetheless,
yeah, in the same context for like the older Anakin, right? Like I think that
that could be it too. That
like
they don't know.
it was literally during the time where we still had freaking Hayden Christensen around, and so like yeah, let's just put like he signed his life away to Star Wars, so let's just put his name, let's just put
Put
his
his name in.
likeness and freaking everything. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I,
I don't know.
I liked it. It put a pretty little bow on. I can remember after the um the prequel trilogy's finished,
Yeah.
and I remember I sat down and watched. I remember we rewatched the original trilogy shortly after we saw Revenge of the Sith, and um I was like, wow, this is it. Like I almost, because I remember sitting in the theater after Revenge of the Sith going, this is it. It's over. 6 movies of my in my lifetime, and I'll never see another Star Wars movie again. I will just have to watch these movies over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, which we've done.
Hmm.
Not knowing in 2005 that
Prequel.
14 no 2005, so 11, trying to do the math real quick, yeah, 11 years later
Hmm.
I would get The Force Awakens, and we would get a whole new trilogy.
Like 2005 or
Well, I saw Revenge of the Sith in
2015?
2000. Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005.
Yeah, 2005. Yeah,
So Force Awakens came out in
11 years.
2016.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go.
No, wait, no, you're right, 2015.
Yeah, 2015.
2015.
Yeah,
So 10 years later,
yeah.
duck, I went to freaking Comic-Con and saw it. So I never thought I'd see the day. I remember I sitting when I heard about the Marvel, when Disney bought Lucasfilms, and they said immediately at the press conference for the purchase, we're doing a sequel trilogy. And when they announced J.J. Abrams as the director, I was like, holy crap, dude, this is sacrilegious. The guy did
Hmm.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
So I never, I honestly thought, I just remember sitting there watching. I watched those 6 movies over and over and over and over again because I thought I'd never get to see another Star Wars movie, not knowing
Yeah.
that are we going to get not only one, not two, but 3 new Star Wars movies. We're going to get a brand new TV show called The Mandalorian, and which has now
Yeah.
spawned multiple TV shows,
We
and
also
we
got
get
two. We also got two
Solo and
spin-off
Rogue
solo
One.
movies. Yep.
Then now we're going to get Rogue Squadron. Then we're going
Yep.
to get the Taika Waititi Star Wars movie.
Oh
Oh
God.
my gosh, so much content
Yeah.
for
Which
years to come.
yeah. It's a
Just as
it's a
long as they never
good
reboot it.
yeah.
Don't
It's a
ever reboot it.
well reboot in the sense of like the last three. I'm okay with.
No, see, that's the thing. They're awful. Just
Well,
like
yeah, yeah,
the
they're
first
awful.
3 are awful. But just let them go and just
Well,
build. You have this is okay. This is an example
yeah.
that we'll get into with the Mandalorian.
Okay.
Is take the established content that we have,
Mm-hmm.
take a little bit of the canon,
Mm-hmm.
take a little bit of the extended universe,
Mm-hmm.
and make it work. And John Favreau is doing that.
Yeah.
He is uh, adding a little bit of, like, he added a set piece that was obviously from a broken pod racer from years
Yeah.
past. So that's a nod
Yeah.
and a wink and a nudge
The,
to the prequels.
yeah.
There are
Yeah.
scenes I can't get into. There are scenes in season 2 that
Yeah.
lay the groundwork for what we see in
Ahead.
the JJ trilogy, the JJ and so
The biggest for me, the biggest disservice that the recent trilogy has done specifically is that we've already had established characters in the extended universe already out there, really well established, really
yeah,
amazing characters in the hopes of the Solo kids, right?
that was a
we
bummer.
we had three Solo kids,
I
and
grew up,
two of
yeah.
them, yeah, and two of them were basically Rey and Kylo. And we like I'm just hoping that somewhere along the way we get like some form of like force powered person that can reality warp some type of thing. We have Janice Solo back.
You,
I
they'll
want that,
figure out they'll figure
dude.
out a way to make it work, but I don't think it's happened. Obviously, they've killed off Han Solo. They've obviously Carrie Fisher is not coming back. So Princess Leia is dead. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the sequel trilogy, but we'll get into those next week. Force Awakens tentatively scheduled for next week. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, guys, for staying with us and following our Star Wars journey. I can't believe we've already made it through the not only the sequel trilogy, the prequel trilogy, the original
mhm,
trilogy, the two spinoffs, and now we're on the downward spiral towards the Rise of Skywalker, and
yeah.
eventually we will get to the TV shows. So, Jr., at this standpoint, we have now seen 8 movies. Where do you rank Jedi? Because you said last week the last go round, you said that Empire is your number one.
Two's
Where
Hope. Let me see. One is Empire. Two is Hope. Three is gonna be this one. Four. Four close to three. Close to my number three and four is gonna be the Solo movie. Or no, yeah, Solo movie. Yeah, yeah. And then five is gonna be Rogue One, and then the prequel sequels.
right now on my list, I have A New Hope as number one, Empire Strikes Back at number two. I do have Return of the Jedi in my top five, along with Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Solo is based on the movies that we've seen so far. A New Hope is
Mm-hmm.
number one, Empire is number two, Rogue One's number three, Return is number four, and Solo is number five.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Solo would be Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, and The Phantom Menace. So we have not seen Rise of Skywalker. We have not yet watched The Last Jedi, and we have not yet watched The Force Awakens. That will be hopefully tentatively scheduled for next week. Guys,
Yeah.
thank you so much for listening to our great show here and listening to JR absolutely lamb-based Cyberpunk 2077. But we hopefully made up for it
It's
by
hard.
taking
It was
a
tough.
delve into. We didn't do we watched a little bit of it, but we kind of just wanted to give you guys more of what we thought based on what we're seeing in Star Wars, what we're thinking
Yeah.
of right now, because there's so much good stuff going on right now.
And the main reason why, guys, is because it's all downhill from here.
We've
It
got
really is.
there is gold in them Dar Hills, though. There's some great storytelling. We do get introduced to some great characters. Remind you, whether you what you think of her or not, Ray is a fun character. Um, Poe
Yes.
Dameron is a great character.
Mhm.
Finn is a great
Is a
character,
tragically unfinished character that should have been finished. I'm so
and
sorry, Poe.
I like Rose. Sorry, I like Rose. Sue me. I don't care.
I
Um,
will. I hate you.
I liked her.
Yeah,
Maybe she wasn't written well. Who knows what would happen if JJ got all 3 movies?
hmm
You know, we'll get into all that in a couple weeks or
So,
next
yeah,
week or
guys.
whatever.
So, guys, please join us next time. Next week when we go to the first adventures of both Jaina and Jason Solo. I mean Ray and Kylo Ren.
Thank you guys so much
Yeah.
at PS Comics. I love you on Twitter and I'm sorry on Instagram and Facebook at PS Comics. I love the letter U on Twitter. Don't forget to follow us, like us, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Go to YouTube. our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, give us
Mhm.
your feedback. Let us know what we're
Mhm.
doing right, what we're doing wrong. Don't forget to hit up Interstellar, Desert Oasis, and
And Comic
Comic
Asylum,
Asylum.
guys.
This
Palm
past week
Desert.
there are some Christmas sales going to happen. And Yeah, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful holidays. Depending on when it falls, when you listen to this video, thank you so much for
Yeah,
following our
guys.
little podcast. Happy
Yep.
30 episodes.
Happy 30 episode, guys, and please, guys, I need you guys to start a revolt. Bring us. Let's bring back Jaina, the best, the literal best Jedi to ever should have walked the earth after Luke, but then we got Rey instead.
What about Ahsoka?
Ahsoka's number is like number 4 and 5. Honestly,
What
legit.
about Baby Yoda?
He's not even Jedi yet. We gotta
But
wait.
he
We gotta
he
wait.
he,
We gotta wait 600 years.
he waves his magic handy thing.
Yeah, and we gotta wait 600 years.
Okay,
We
guys.
gotta wait. We gotta wait about 500 years before he turns like 15. Okay, in our Earth time. But yeah, guys. So
All
thank
right,
you very
guys.
much. Thank you for just hearing me kind of be buzz ranting and all that stuff. And I miss Jada.
It's the beer
The-
talking.
It is, and I miss Jada. I miss her so damn much. And Jason. Yeah, Ray and Kylo. Bye, guys. Bye.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace.